welcome to the show.
Good morning, my senior brother. Good morning to your listeners and good morning to my colleague, panelists as well. Nice being in your studio today. Very nice studio.
Thank you so much. It's great to have you here. I hope you've had a very good Easter so far.
By the grace of God. So far, so good. Yes.
So far, so good. Right. From Wisdom Gomashi, let me say a good morning to Ibrahim Issa Future. He's a member of the National Democratic Congress, the communication team. And Ibrahim, a very good morning to you. I hope your Easter has been great so far. Well, Easter has nothing to do with you.
Yeah,
a very good morning to you.
Good morning, sir. It has been a great morning today, yes.
Fantastic,
Yes.
fantastic. Okay, let me also say a very good morning to Poku Mensah. He's with the New Patriotic Party and Kwejo Yamwa as well. Also, the Executive Director for Health Foundation Africa. Gentlemen, joining me via Zoom. A very good morning to you. Can you hear me?
Good morning. Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Thank you very much for asking.
Okay.
Okay, if we can hear, is that okay? Is that Yao Poku Mensah?
Yeah,
No,
I'm here.
this
Good
is
morning.
good.
Good morning to my colleagues in the studio. I believe we're all doing well.
Yes, fantastic. Kwejo Yamwa, very good to hear from you as well. Okay, so we've had the tone set for the Galamsey conversation. I was telling you about a press release by the Coalition Against Galamsey. It was made up of a tall list of persons who believe that the fight so far against Galamsey hasn't been the best. I just want to read to you some of the things they highlighted in that press statement. Then we can dive into the conversation this morning. And so this was issued 2 days ago, where the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey has carefully assessed the ongoing fight against illegal mining, including developments on the ground and pronouncements by the president and the government officials. While the coalition acknowledges the anti-Galamsey efforts being promising with some modest results, it notes with deep concern that meaningful impacts remain largely unachievable. The coalition calls on President Mahama to take immediate action to halt the impunity among enforcement agencies and government representatives, and also address the poor compliance fueling the nationwide impact of Galamsey. It goes on to say that despite repeated government assurances, the coalition observed with grave concern that the situation is not improving, rather it is worsening, threatening water bodies, forest reserves, and the health and the safety of the Ghanaian people. They made mention of some key issues. Let me just run through that. Guarantee greater protection for forests as promised. The coalition acknowledges President Mahama's commendable revocation of the LI 2462, but expresses deep concern that after 1 year in office, the state of Ghana's forest has worsened. When the president took office, nearly 45 forest reserves were impacted by illegal mining. That number has now risen to at least 50 forests with over 90,000 acres of areas affected, which is very disappointing. Despite government declaration the forests are red zones, the coalition observes meaningful change. The Tiwa forest, for instance, crucial for biodiversity and water, faces unprecedented illegal mining and the risk of encroachment. It goes on to say that when it comes to accountability issues in the fight against Galamsey, pulse insurance of small-scale mining, accountability for the DCEs and MCEs, the Yoko investigation, political involvement, Professor Frimpong Boateng's reports, deportation of foreigners, and the use of so that's just some key issues highlighted by the coalition against Galamsey. They have assessed the fight and they say they are not impressed so far. In fact, in their own words, it's really disappointing. I'd love to start for very good reasons. I'll start with Ibrahim. Ibrahim, it's your party that is in power. And in the run-up to the 2024 elections, when Galamsey, of course, is still having devastating impacts on the country, the environment, and everything that concerns it. We saw the pronouncement of the National Democratic Congress. They gave an indication that when they come, they were going to end Galamsey within a specific period of time. Now we're having this assessment from the coalition against Galamsey, made up of a tall list of, members of this coalition. You're talking about the media coalition against Galamsey, Sewa, whose audio we just played a while ago, also made her own observation. From where you sit as the National Democratic Congress, how would you describe the work you've done thus so far on the fight against Galamsey, sincerely?
All right. Good morning, listeners, and everyone who is listening to us as a radio this morning. When it comes to the issue of Galamsey, in fact, I did a lot of research. I make many inquiries on what we said when we were in opposition and when we were in power, what we have been able to do so far. Now, I'm not going to emphasize more on that because my boss will be doing that. I'm going to share with you a little about what we've been able to do so far. Now, when it comes to the issue of Galamsey, first we have to understand the Galamsey itself, that it's used to be this pickaxe and these shovels before these chamfines were introduced into our water bodies. Now, in fighting of Galamsey, definitely there will be a little bit of people doing Galamsey. But when you look at the report that has been sent so far, you see a whole list and a whole coalition on how Galamsey is spoiling is destroying our forest. Now, the NIMOs that we introduced recently, we have challenges. They have got their own challenges, and we the NDC, we like the pressure that's coming from the media and other stakeholders, because just 1 year in power, if this pressure is coming, and if I have to tell you how far we've gone to, then within 9 months or within a year again, we will fight Galamsey to the 100%, as we say. Now, when you look at the challenges that NIMO is facing right now, it's, as you said earlier, about the logistics and this thing when they were complaining. Now, the issue of fighting Galamsey is that my inquiries, when I went to some of the sites, in fact, the NIMOs were complaining that they have a temporary stay at the sites. So this is what happened. They go to the sites, they make sure they sack the illegal miners. But before they come back again, you realize that the illegal miners are there again. The Galamseyers are also there again. So this has been one of the biggest challenges of them as they produce. So now we are increasing the number of people so that they will be stationed. The NIMOs will not be moving from side to side, so that they will be stationed at one side, so that the complaints that they are given, that when they go to this site, before they come back, they are there again, that complaint will be, but currently we've been able to take over some of the forests or some of the sites completely. We've been able to take over some of the sites. And when you
how
look
many
at,
sites are we looking at that you have reclaimed?
So I don't have the numbers right now. I don't want to say something that I'm not sure of. So we've taken over some of the sites now. And when you look at the president's effort of fighting Galamsey, when you look at what he said recently, that when a complaint came that some of the national executives or the executives of NDC are engaged in Galamsey, and the president set a committee to investigate them, and we all know that they are under investigation. Now, as compared to earlier, first, during the time of the NPP, just to make a reference to that, when Chairman Wontumi was accused, or Akonta Mining was accused of doing illegal mining, I think the president came to defend that Akonta Mining is not into any Galamsey or into any illegal mining. Unlike the current president, John Dramani Mahama, who is currently, any report that he hear on Galamsey, he work on that. So I think when it comes to Galamsey, this something small that I would like to share. Thank you.
Right. Many say that given, in fact, I just have to revert to the tone I set for this conversation, and all around the table would be able to bear me out in terms of what you have said. You clearly told us that when you come, you're going to end Galamsey within a specific period of time. You're now telling us about the challenges NIMOS faced. When the NPP were in power and were telling us about the similar challenges, you told us that you were better placed to fix those challenges. A year on, and we're still having the lamentations unabated. What really will it take to fix these challenges? I mean, NIMOS talked profoundly about logistical challenges. The president has the powers. He can garner to actually ensure that they retool NIMOS to be able to do an effective work. And so, as Sewa observed, it looks like the political will to fight Galamsey is lacking, and that blame is laid squarely at your doorstep as the party.
Oh yes, definitely. We are not running away from that blame. We are not running away from it. That's why I said that we have a listening precedent. Wherever we hear any case about Galamsey, we have a listening precedent. President John Dramani Mahama. Whenever there is any case about Galamsey, the president comes. He comes out. He says when the president during his one of his press release, when he said that they've heard that some of the national executives are involved, the president wasn't there to back them up, that they should continue doing the same thing as it was done previously by His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo came back to back Chema Wontumi of his illegal mining. So these are some of the processes, the logistics. You know, no matter what, when fighting Galamsey, there will be a challenge. And when the challenge comes, we provide a solution to it. So now a logistical challenge has come. And the president, as you said, he has the power to provide. And they are in the process of providing this kind of solution to these logistical challenges. Yep.
It's interesting. You're still listening to the forum here on Asasi Radio 99.5 in Accra. We're just beginning the conversation. And let me say a very warm welcome to Alfred Thompson. He's a member of the NPP communications team and also a national treasure aspirant. Thompson, it's good to have you in the studio as well. And a very good morning to you.
Thank you very much and good morning.
Fantastic. I hope your Easter has been great so far.
So far, so good. I bring you great greetings from the MPP fraternity, especially my flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. And we wish you well for this Easter. Even though it's a holy Saturday, I can see you in the studio doing your work. And I can only wish you well and say that I hope that your work is not a soul-sourced work. That you have the team that you are working with to make sure that we get everything sailing. Thank you.
Thank you for being on the show. Let me come to you, Mr. Gomashi, because mining, you are in that remit as well. Listening to the CSOs, the Media Coalition Against Galamsey, and of course the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey, assessing the impact of Galamsey on the environment, saying that this current administration hasn't done their best, their utmost. Comparing that to the things they said in the lead up to the elections, the alternatives that we're going to give to us when it comes to the fight against Galamsey. Do you, are you able to resonate with what the CSOs are saying, the coalition against Galamsey?
Okay. Thank you very much once again. My greetings to your cherished listeners. My special regards to the good people of Jasekine. Special greetings to my paramount chief Nana Brantu and everyone. My regards to my co-panelists, Mr. Ibrahim and Honorable Thompson.
It's Mr. Alfred Thompson.
Mr. Alfred Thompson,
Yes.
Thank you. So yeah, I should take the honorable title out.
Please.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Thank you. Yeah. So, on this issue of illegal mining, which the coalition against Galamsey have spoken against, it should be clear that somewhere around September 16th, 2025, the anti-Galamsey coalition indicated to President John Mahama that his campaign against Galamsey has not been effective. We need to first of all look at what is mining in this country. We have the large-scale form of mining activities and the small-scale mining activities. These are the two major arms of mining as recognized by our law, the Minerals and Mining Act 703/2006 in this country. Averagely, small-scale mining accounts for 40% of our total good produced in country. And the truth, which most politicians won't tell you, is that this 40%, majority of it comes from the illegal small-scale mining sector. When you review the literature, over 1 million Ghanaians are involved in the illegal aspect of small-scale mining activities. So I would like to correct my brother that when it comes to Akunta mining, when I'm talking about illegal small-scale mining or illegal mining activities, Akunta mining is in a different league altogether. Akunta mining is just a company in Samaboy. Okay, so when I'm talking about illegal mining activities across the country, Akunta even is not a small-scale mining lease a holder. We need to separate those issues clearly. And this 1 million people who are involved in this activity has a ripple effect on over one person involved in a mine activity has a ripple effect on about 4 people. The wife, let's say three children. So as we speak today, mining, small-scale mining in this country account for over 5 million direct and indirect impact. So we need to know what we are fighting, that government upon government have been grappling with this challenge. President Akufo-Addo placed his presidency on the line. He made those statements. But what was the result? Let's go deep into the discussions. Now, in opposition, I'm speaking in affirmation to the report the media coalition has brought out. The current government were in opposition then, and they indicated in their 120 days contract that they are going to ensure that any form of mining in forests and reserves is stopped. That's going to be through the introduction of the revocation of the LI 2462. Some of us were telling the CSOs that, see, LI 2462 never granted anybody permit to mine in a forest and reserves. I'm saying this on authority. LI 2462 was never a license to mine in a forest reserve. So the campaign you are waging, even in the end that you even revoke that LI 2462, mining, being it the legal or illegal form, will still happen in a forest. I.e., a company like Newmont Achim came to Ghana 17 years ago. 17 years before LI 2462 was passed. So are we saying Newmont mining in forest reserve was on the back of LI 2462? That came in 2022. We had senior government officials today, like Honorable Sam George, indicate in opposition that Galamsey is a menace that any serious president can end in a week or two. I'm sure the records are there. President Mahama at a point indicated that Galamsey is a problem for the then President Akufo-Addo, to fix. That is his problem to fix, because this is a publication from My Joy Online. This was 17th October 2024, some few months to the general election. He said it is your responsibility to deal with Galamsey now, not mine. These are publications. Okay. There was a time at Edumbanso, our president today met people in the eastern region, in the western region, and told them that when you vote for me, all the small boys that have been arrested for being engaged in illegal mine activity, I'm going to get them out, because the financiers themselves are there. We had and heard a lot of promises. In the NDC manifesto, they indicated, where Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa even in some explanation even called that when they even assume office, they are going to end small-scale mining or ban it for a period of 5 years. What are we seeing today? They promised to abolish community mining schemes and come with cooperative mining schemes. What are we seeing today? In Ghana today, the community mining schemes that were even established by the Elsewell administration, just yesterday you've seen some videos circulating in the media where it is allegedly indicated that people of Infante community are calling on the government that allegedly, I mean, it is all over in the media, that the president's brother is trying to lay claim to their community mining lands. They should stay off. It's there. We've seen issues where people like Yamin, a national organizer of the party, Abanga, the third vice chairman of the party, I'm speaking in affirmation to issues which the media coalition raised,
right,
of the party, were referred to the Attorney General on matters relating to illegal mining activity. Till date, none of those issues have been identified. In recent times, in this country, we have seen DCEs, municipal chief executives, issuing permits. Meanwhile, in Ghana, the person who has power to administer any form of small-scale mining license is the minister responsible for lands and natural resources. DCEs come no close anywhere to administer licenses to people. We have seen the issue where even turn or not, the DCE could even grant prospecting licenses. Can you imagine? For illegal mining activities which Erastus and Co. reported on. We have seen the videos from Joy News reports on Amansie on this Galamsey tax issue. And the only thing the government could do was just to issue a fiat that, hey, my DCs, stop taking Galamsey tax. Meanwhile, the real menace is still ongoing down there. In fact, if President Mahama said in opposition that Galamsey is the responsibility of the president to fix, which we know because in line with Article 257(6), Ghana's minerals is in the hands of the president for the good people of Ghana. What has changed now? In recent times, President Mahama has even indicated that his own people are involved in the menace. So this issue of equalization is not going to solve the problem. The menace is there. And you see, I'll blame the CSOs that they should spare the politicians sometimes because they, the CSOs, are also part of the problem. Yes. I'm not defending President Mahama here. The CSOs sometimes are part of the problem because you see, revocation of LI 2462. You see, the LI 2462 was just a regulation to indicate that when you have a permit from Minerals Commission to undertake mining in forest reserves, this is the guidelines you should what? You should follow. It was never a regulation or any item to grant license to people to mine in forest reserves. But that one is the job of the MPP to handle. They failed to communicate, and the CSOs trumpeted this. As of the time, in their report, President Mahama had even indicated that because of LI 2462, I would say he was misled. Mining is ongoing in 37 forest reserves. The coalition report, which you just read a portion now, they are saying that it has increased from 45 forest reserves to 50. Even as the LI 2462 had been revoked. So their problem is that they should not blame President Mahama. They themselves are a problem because the LI 2462 is not a legal instrument to mine in forest. And when they were advised that no, that tangent is too bad because mining legally had been ongoing even in forest reserve before the coming into force of LI 2462. Chirano Gold Mines is mining in forest reserves. Newmont Achim is mining in forest reserves. And illegal mining, you can Google. Illegal mining have been happening in forest reserves even before LI 2462 was passed in 2022. So every truthful person, if you are a CSO and you are truthful, you shouldn't give the president that bad advice. Now, you have forced the president to revoke the LI. And now mining has rather increased from 45 forest reserves to 50. Personally, with my level of knowledge, I will not blame President Mahama. I mean, technically, that one, the politicians can handle it. But it tells you how our CSO sometimes should think through matters before they get politicians on board. Because this same instrument, LI 2462, was used against the past government and they lost power. Now, this same LI 2462, which you have forced the president to revoke, has not stopped the mining in the forest reserve. So it tells you that the problem is systemic. It is not about a regulatory instrument. When this issue about Galamsey, the Galamsey taxing issue came about, we've had people who have called upon the president to quickly take action. I was expecting to meet my senior brother Parkwesi Shandoff here.
Well, he actually mentioned that he is currently held up in a briefing.
Thank you.
So hopefully we are trying to get him to join us via Zoom because we need some clarity on some of the issues that were raised.
The sector minister Amakofibwa has taken note, and government will look into allegations and take appropriate actions. So now the DCs are still at post, right? And these are issues that borders that is government really concerned? We've had senior CSOs like Suleiman Abrahima on February 9, 2026 asked that sack Amansia DC immediately over a tax for Galamsey expose. Honorable Ken Ashigbe, who is the convener for this same report we are discussing.
Yeah, the media coalition against Galamsey.
On 12 February 2026, called on President Ken Ashigbe calls for arrest of Tanon North MC over prospecting license issue, because DC don't have mandate to issue licenses. So if you look at all what they've stated, the coalition have stated in their report, the issue remains that the government of the day, led by President John Dramani Mahama, is not ready to fight illegal mining. You see, let's take this issue one by one. We are in this country for the first time. A government is setting target for the quantity of gold they want to buy from the small scale mining sector. And the finance minister went to parliament, indicate that Ghana this year, we want to buy 127 tons of gold from the small scale mining sector. Every reasonable technical person would have asked the finance minister that, please, can you attach the list of the small scale mining companies you are going to buy the gold from? Nobody have asked that question. Nobody have asked that question. It tells you, and the fact remain there, the literature is all over, that all the gold PMMC has bought in the past, or gold board is buying today, not all of them are coming from legal sources. Most are from illegal mining sources. So until we are committed to fight this menace.
But Good Board has also indicated that they're working a tracking process to know exactly where these golds are coming from, whether they are from illegal miners or miners. So you can discount that.
So they said they are.
Yeah.
They haven't. Do you understand? Traceability start not from gold shops. Traceability start from where the gold is mined. So when Gold Board tells you that I have licensed buyers, there's a difference between a buyer and a miner. And the international framework, as outlined by the OECD guidelines on responsible sourcing of minerals, indicate that you should know where the gold is coming from. Government upon government have not been able in this country to put up a traceability system. And even if a traceability system comes in today, illegal mining is not going to stop all of a sudden. So it is a system which we need to first of all accept what we are talking of. Before, my brother was speaking about NEMOS and how the previous administration was not able to even hold some people to account. I know some of these issues will come by. I have a confidential letter here from the BNI, where previous administration, DC, this is a letter where the National Intelligence Bureau wrote to the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources that they have investigated the former DCE for Elembele, Honorable Bonzoke and his executives on illegal mining activities, and this is the report. Okay, I have a report here from the Ministry of Defense and also the Operation Halt, which outlined the various activities they took in line with anti-Galamsey initiatives. I will plead that we should not equalize. We should not equalize. The evidences are there. The previous administration is out, but we should not attempt to lie on them. There are so many records. People like Charles Bisu and Co were referred to the CID, a whole lot about illegal mining. Today, you told Ghanaians that you want to fix their menace. And let's correct this thing. Nobody should gaslight Ghanaians that Nemos or whatever is not resolved. That is why illegal mining is not. What do you mean by that? Because our president today told Ghanaians that the small boys that have been arrested from the Galamsey site are not the ones causing the menace. This was when state funds were used. State funds were used to finance Operation Hot 2, Operation Vanguard, what have you. If it comes to the government that have used so much force to fight illegal mining, then the previous administration will be given a kudos on that, because they came with Galamsey, they came with Operation Vanguard, Operation Hot 1, Operation Hot 2, about 4 to 5 different security arrangements. Nemos have been allocated 150 million Ghana cedis. Right? That's how many? Right? To fight this menace. Right? So you cannot sit here and tell us that Nemos and Galamsey is not only a security challenge. I have already indicated that it is both enforcement and reforms. And one of the reforms aspect is the community mining scheme, which by the with all due respect, a minute silence to the gallant soldiers we lost, leaders we lost, that were going into change, or let's say rebrand the community mining scheme into cooperative, and they lost their lives. As we speak today, the minister responsible for lands and natural resources cannot stand anywhere and boast that I have inaugurated this cooperative mining scheme and they are working. He had opened one in his constituency, Elembele, and there is no action. There is one at Bibiani, there is no action. Recently, there was an expose which I brought out. What the minister responsible for mines with the Ghana government is doing is that they are moving from one illegal mining site to the another, granting temporary licenses. How can you sidestep the Minerals Commission? And this is not an allegation, because natural resource governance experts such as Dr. Steve Mantiao and Co have raised the same allegation 2 days after I brought it up. He also came up to indicate it. So both on the front of enforcement and regulate and the reforms, the government is not committed to anything. And you see, you told us that when we vote for you as president, you will make sure that no appointee of you will even engage in the legal form of mining. President Mahama told Ghanaians that he will not allow his appointees to even engage in the legal, not illegal, in the legal form. But today you have people in your government, people in your party who have positions, who have been mentioned in these exposés,
right?
And their names have not been, and they have not been sanctioned. So I would say, truly, the report by the coalition against Galamsey that the president is feeling the fight, I associate with it, and I've been able to tell you why. I would personally think that the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, in my recommendation, should either be quickly be removed or reshuffled, or he should be given room to operate. These are my 2 suggestions on the minister, because it appears he's not given the room to operate, and he must be either be removed or reshuffled somewhere.
But what gives Winston, what gives that indication that he hasn't been given the room to operate?
But the lands minister was in parliament coaching and telling Ghanaians that Akufo-Addo's regime is an example of how not to govern a country. So is the fight against Galamsey now an example of not how to fight Galamsey? That is an answer. So politicians should be very careful. Secondly, any politician that tells you that granting licenses for small-scale miners means Galamsey is a liar and do not understand what the issue is. Let me clarify this. This station we are on now, I hope you are licensed by the NCA.
Absolutely.
Right? So are we going to say because we are licensing so many radio stations, it is causing so many problems, so we should not license them? But you see radio stations, springing up all over. This government is happy telling people that they are not giving licenses to small scale miners, and they are increasing their gold tonnage. So where are they getting the gold from? Think about it. The first step to regularize an entity is to be able to license the entity. So in my recommendation, I will call on the president that we know the state is buying Galamsey gold from time immemorial. We should not be hypocrites about that, but he should not stop the licensing. Issue about the cooperatives, which was changed, the community mining that was changed to cooperative. Fourth Estate undertook an investigation where a Pinto community mining scheme was being hijacked by the MP for Prestia to be mortgaged to Chinese officials. It is there. I'm not the one saying it. So the cooperative, more cooperatives should be created for the young people to get job. Now, NAMOS, in conclusion, NAMOS is just a creation. When this government assumed office, they took one step which I was very happy of. That was when the interior minister with the IGP created IGP's team to fight Galamsey. I was happy because in every town in this country, you will find a police station there. In every district, there's a police station. So when this government came up with the initiative of IGP's team to fight this illegal miners, in fact, I was so happy. But what happened? In a few weeks, the IGP's men were called back to the barracks that NAMOS should fight this menace. There is no way you can fight this menace from Accra with NAMOS. So truly, in conclusion, I agree with the anti-Galamsey coalition. And in my own words, now I am saying that President John Dramani Mahama is the commander-in-chief of all Galamsey activities in this country. And quote me on any day, because he is a president. Article 257(6), he is holding their minerals. He has made all the promises. He promised that in some few months into government, he will make sure this menace is brought under control. And the menace is still happening. The finance minister is setting targets on this illegally mined gold. So President John Dramani Mahama, today, if you are hearing me, your son, you are the one directing Galamsey activities now in this country. If you are not the one, let it stop. Thank you.
That's an interesting label. You put that on the presidents and also on the CSOs as well.
Please.
They are partly blamed for the problem.
They are partly blamed for the problem.
Let me go to Kwejo Che Yamwa. He's the executive director for Health Foundation Africa. He had to leave us in a chat for an equally important assignment. Kwejo, let me come to you. It turns out that we're back at the table again with a litany of lamentations about the fight against Galamsey. We're really not being impressed with that fight. But NIMOS has made some modest, gains in terms of the fight. They have arrested foreigners. They're on the ground and they, trying to increase their impacts. From where you sit, where do you see?
Okay, thank you very much. Already we have made it clear that we are looking at the results, and the results is not encouraging. Whatever input and effort that we are putting in to address this illegal, irresponsible mining Galamsey, we should see the results. We want to see our rivers clear. We want to see that illegal activities in the forest areas and other areas are stopped. And importantly, there are a lot of illegal activities that you see, some of which are still very close to town and even close to the highways. And for us, we see that these illegal miners have the audacity to continue their activities. And even as of this year, NIMOS is still arresting Chinese people engaged in Galamsey. So it tells you they are not deterred. It is like, catch us if you can. And when we have that scenario in 2026, it should tell all of us that there is a lot more that we need to do. Let me say that the solutions are well known. And already Galamsey did not start recently. We will remember our former president, the late Professor Tamils, has started a strong fight against Galamsey when our current president was a vice. And he had gone to rivers to see how the pollution were being done. And there are footages and media reports capturing that. So our president now, President John Mahama, knew about Galamsey in his before when he was vice, and when he was president as well. Galamsey was up. In fact, the build up to the 2016 election, Galamsey was one of the key things. That is why when President Nanadu came in, he had to stop all form of mining for about 2 years. So if you consider even the radical approach that President Nanadu took when he assumed office in 2026, it was more radical than what our President Mahama is doing now. Only that all of them take action, but the results do not show, and there are challenges, and then there are excuses. So that is one thing that we need to talk about. But let me say that my friend Gomashi is quick to blame the CSOs, which I think is a very slippery grounds that he wants to get to. Look, if he checks his facts, when the LI 2462 was passed in 2022, before then there was about 2% of the forest that mining were in, large-scale mining and others. As soon as it was passed, between that time to about 2024, we have over 80% of the forest having some activities relative to mining, and some were legal, some were illegal. And there were a lot of companies, about 35, that had put in applications for prospecting licensing and others hiding behind the LI 2462. Though there is a gap in the Parent Act 703, it was the LI that facilitated, by some means, the massive encroachment in the forest reserve. And a lot of them were legal because they had applied for the prospecting and others, and they were in. And of course, when a company is doing prospecting, it's already digging, picking samples, assessing all sites, and that were creating opportunities for illegal miners to also come in the forest, because already the forest is open for the prospecting, and some way, somehow, they were knowing that these were the rich areas that the grade were good for Galamsey activities, because by some strange means, the data of the prospecting gets to these, or information gets to these Galamseyers, and they are quick to go to these areas to start to mine. So CSOs advising on the LI 2462 was based on the rapid deforestation drive under the guise of the LI, even for legal prospecting procedures. And that was very important that we address it, so that we don't hide behind the LI to allow even large-scale companies to go in legally to do prospecting, and also to do some degradation that is also exposing the forest to illegal miners. So there is always a reason why certain advocacy is done. So it's very important. But that's notwithstanding, there is also the advocacy for the review of the act. And I think that that advocacy is building up, and it was even before the advocacy on the LI, but the advocacy on the LI took a very important step and had a lot of voices because of the drastic deforestation based on when the LI was passed from 2022, and then a year, 2 years time in 2024, what we observe. So the facts are there and the data are there. You can check with Forestry Commission, and then you will notice from 2% to over 80%. So that was how our forest was exposed. So you look at what caused that. So that is very, very important. Let me also add that the CSOs are doing their part. Of course, it may not be all that perfect, but the fight against Galamsey is not only the fight by CSOs. If there are issues, anybody, any Ghanaian should be able to raise the issue because it affects all of us. When the water is polluted, everybody is affected. When the forest is degraded, everybody is affected. So it's very, very important. And I draw this and I tell everybody, I was meeting with students and I say, look, this fight is for all of us and everybody has the right to speak up. Just as CSOs are organized and they can facilitate the advocacy in a certain direction. But the CSOs alone cannot address this. That is why we are very happy that media houses like you are also creating the platform to discuss it, because this is a national issue and this must be looked at. Let me come back to our meeting with the president. And this is not the first time we have met the president on Galamsey. During opposition, we had even signed a pact. I mean, the coalition against Galamsey has signed a pact with all the political parties. And President Mahama signed at that time as the flag bearer of NDC. And there were some recommendations therein that whoever wins was going to, work by that. Already, we had also heard the president on a lot of critical issues during his campaign. And one, of course, was to now target the campaigns and the financiers and the politically exposed persons facilitating this Galamsey. Without which we cannot address this issue of Galamsey. And we have said it number and over. We have repeated this. If you go to a lot of the press releases we have done, a lot of the meetings we have done, a lot of the petitions we have said, look, let's follow where the money is coming from to finance the illegal mining. And you see, buying excavators, buying fuel, employing people, it is not everybody that can do. Excavator is very expensive. So you need to have money. And if you don't cut it from that source, it becomes difficult. You go to the field, you arrest 200 boys. The next day, another 200 boys are employed and they are there because there's no job. Just last week, I was in Takrady following up on some cases, and you could see that those who were brought to court at the Takrady High Court, you would notice that these are still the small boys who were arrested and being prosecuted. In fact, I didn't see any financier or campaign there. You can see from the nature. And that would not stop the Galamsey, and our president is aware. So when we met him, we told the president, look, the solution we know, the issue has always been the political way. In every party, we know the party people know those who are deeply involved in Galamsey. In NDC, they know those who are deeply involved in Galamsey. And if we want to take them out or we want to address the issue, we can do that. And what we are saying is that let them regularize, and so that we can now monitor them, ensure that they mine properly, responsibly, and legally. And the law does not permit you to mine on water bodies. So we do that. Then once we address these issues, it becomes easy for us to still do our mining, do it well, and then we can still be getting our gold. People get confused, thinking that we in CSOs, we are totally against mining. No. What we are against is illegal and irresponsible mining, resulting in the pollution of our water bodies, resulting in the highly degradation of our forests, of our cocoa farms, and our farmlands. And these are all illegal and irresponsible mining activities that we need to put a stop to this. And the president have all the resources because you are the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces and you are voted for to solve problems. So at our meeting, we were worried that there were still complaints instead of actions. For instance, how are we dealing with those who have been, identified within the party, DCs and others, engage in Galamsey, facilitating Galamsey, MPs, Council of State members. We should have scapegoats and ensure that everybody know that we are following our words with action. We cannot say that we do not support Galamsey, but when our party people, our people in government are engaged in it, we delay and say investigations are ongoing. Some investigations started as early as 2025 and is still ongoing as we speak now to ascertain whether those people were involved or facilitated Galamsey, which should not take for us more than 3 months for you to be able to investigate. An important thing that the president said was that when the expose came about the DCs, MCs who were charging on sham fines and others, the presidency did their own investigation. They realized that it was not only those DCs, all the mining districts, when they were taxed to increase their internally generated funds, all of them started taxing sham fines and excavators. And they were able to identify all those who were operating sham fines and operating excavators and doing mining in the district. Only that they did not differentiate who is doing legal and who is doing illegal. And interestingly, almost all those doing legal and illegal had to go to the assembly and pay. So that tells us that if the assembly is able to identify all those who are doing mining in the district and charge them and they were paying, including the illegal miners, if we decentralize this fight against Galamsey and make it a key performance indicator for all the DC MCs, they will be able to address the issue because they had seen all the illegal miners and had gone to them and had started taxing them. And there were instances that those who were even coming to operate illegally were advised, go to the assembly and go and buy your license or go and pay your tax or something or register. If not, you'll be harassed. So it shows us that the assemblies are far ahead in dealing with the illegal and legal miners. And those they had registered, because when they give you the stickers, they register you, where are you located and all that. So they even have the information as we speak now. And it's good that the president informed us that almost all the mining districts, all of them, the DCs and MCs were taxing the miners, whether mining legal or illegal. So that tells us that the recommendation we had given earlier, that let's ensure that the district security apparatus are supported to address Galamsey, is very valid, a valid recommendation that can help us address this issue. If we don't let addressing Galamsey become an integral part of the performance of the DCs and MCs, we will lose this battle. And we have seen that Operation Vanguard and all that. And with NIMOS, once you move along, another team comes. And it is very expensive to be moving.
But we cannot overlook the issues that NIMOS is raising at the moment, the logistical challenges. They say that they are facing logistical challenges. The equipment they need to be able to work effectively, they do not have it in their right supplement. You can't discount.
Yes, let me say this. This is no news. It is no news because when the president was campaigning in the NDC manifesto, they said they will form this enforcement unit and resource them. And they indicate that is the difference between what they are going to do to what the MPP did, because the MPP did not resource them adequately, so they were not able to do their work. And we had engagement with the NDC manifesto team and things and asked them, what are you going to do differently in addressing Galamsey? Say, form this team and resource them. So why is it that now we are saying that we have not resourced them, so they have not been able to work? That tells us that the political will is not there. Political will comes in three folds. One is to ensure that you create the structures that must work and then you create the enabling condition for the structure to work. So if you do not resource an enforcement agency, you are depriving them of the apparatus and the accoutrements to work. And that shows whether you are committed to their action or not. Even the Bible says this, that where your heart is, that is where your resources goes. So if you don't resource them, it means you are not interested for them to perform. I saw, and I was very sad, that NIMOS officers were looking for canoes to cross river to the other side because the illegal miners has entered the water and they were swimming off, and they were begging community people to bring them canoes so that the community people will help them move across the river. And this same issue was repeated by our president during the last meeting with CSOs, that the NIMOS people do not have canoes. Our blue water guys do not have canoes. How do we expect them to operate on the rivers if they don't have canoes? So you would notice that we have set them up to fail. It is very, very important. And I have spoken to some NIMOS officers who find it difficult to even find decent accommodation in those areas they go to because their stipend is very small. You understand? And NIMOS officers who have gone into Galamsey areas, you need to ensure that they can have a decent sleep so that they can do the next day, go and then work. So it is something that must be looked at. Look, the NIMOS that were attacked were beaten in this area. What has happened? I hope you get it.
Yeah,
there were some politicians whose name came up. By now, we should set the deterrence mechanism. Look, that this is a national agenda. Whoever you are, you cannot touch these enforcement officers, because what you do that, you create that environment, that perception, and that belief of illegal miners that they can attack enforcement officers wherever they find them if they have some political backing. And that must not be the case. We must see a different enforcement regime. NIMOS is okay, but could we do better? I was in support of the IGP's task force. I was in support of that. And that could have been better. But if we are bringing NIMOS and we fail to enforce them, and we are moving them temporarily through areas, and we already know that has not worked. So how do we expect a different resource from this?
It's interesting you make that point, and I just want to refer you to the crusade, the CSOs, just because wisdom was also laying part of the blame on the doorstep of the CSOs. I remember that in the lead up to the 2024 election, there was this mountain campaign and crusade by you, the CSOs, to have a state of emergency declared. We've been told by this Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey that the forest reserve have risen to 50, talking about the impact of Galamsey. It turns out that your voice on declaring a state of emergency has been softened. What exactly is wrong with that? We seem to have lost Kwejo over there, but you're still listening to the forum here on Asansi Radio 99.5 in Accra. He needs to answer that question because they put up a fight for the president to declare state of emergency in the last administration. But it turns out that we are not hearing much of that. Let me come to the politicians now. Alfred Thompson is here. They are laying the blame at your doorstep. They say that there's no political will to fight Galamsey. Awula Sewa also mentioned that, and it turns out that when it comes to the fight against Galamsey, the political will tends to be the elephant in the room. We saw it in the NPP era. It was said that no political will. And in the NDC administration, we're still being told that there's no political will.
I once again greet my co-panelists and welcome my brother. Is it professor or
engineer? Lawyer, engineer,
Professor Jantua. and offer him my deepest condolences for the loss of his sister. Nanaya told me some few days ago, and I haven't called you yet, but it's good I've met you here to wish you that those condolences. We are with you in mourning. Aren't we tired? Seriously, aren't we tired? I'm sure when Lawyer Jantua takes the mic, he'll tell you that he's tired of talking about all this. We sit here, we sit in almost every studio, we complain, and it's as if nobody is listening to you. It's deaf ears. So what will come out of it? It will become politics. Because there's very people who mounted platforms, said, I can stop this in 5 days. I can stop this as soon as you give me the power. They won behind the backdrop of having the power to come and stop Galamsey because there was no state of emergency. Our water bodies were spoiling. Our forest reserves were being taken over. Today, they are mouth full, so they can't talk. They are eating all the bacons and sausages and salads and name the best dishes you can get. So, under the state organized dinners. So now this is just one of the passing comments that they will give. What have they really done within the last 1 year, 3 months? I keep on asking myself, what difference have they put in place?
They've arrested foreigners who are involved in Galamsey.
Previous government didn't arrest foreigners. Previous government didn't deport foreigners. Previous government didn't bring, what do you call it, the soldiers and things to go all over the river bodies and things. Didn't they buy helicopters and other things to even monitor? Galamsey, if you go and check records, skyrocketed between 2012 and 2016. And that is why in the first 2 years of President Nana-Addo, he had to stop all form of mining and had to put them on a structured system and gradually fighting them. My brother said nicely, oh, the government has they've seized sites and everything. My brother, you're a government spokesperson. If you see sites and you ask him a simple question, how many sites have you seized? And he can't say it, he should quickly withdraw. He shouldn't even talk about it. Because we can all sit here and say that we've seized, in MPP we seized over 100 sites. Or we seized so many sites. Everybody can just jab, like how the president is doing to all of us. Jabbing everybody, calling CSOs. You see, Kwabena spoke nicely. He's standing by the beach, so I don't want to complain. He's enjoying the breeze. Because if he's not enjoying all this, you go and meet a president who has told you, point blank, that he knows the people involved in doing this Galamsey. So when they come, they are going to stop them. It's not the small boys who are being arrested, but the kingpins behind all these things. They know. Then you go and meet him. After saying all this and he hasn't done it, you go and meet him the first time. He doesn't tell you anything good. He calls you a second time and you go and meet him. What are you meeting him for? He said this is not the first time they are meeting him. So it means that they've met him twice or thrice. Let's even say 2 times. You've met him the first time. He didn't tell you anything good. Why are you meeting him again? What is the use? Tell him to the face that we are not coming. If you haven't seen A, B, C, D, E, F. The same thing they told the previous government. You see, I don't like referring, but you have to sometimes refer for them to remember where we came from and where we are getting to. When a government was held at gunpoint, that if you don't declare a state of emergency, that is the end of your governance. And they did it. So what has changed between that time and now, the 1 year, 3 months that they've been in office? Water bodies have become worse. On the 10th of December 2025, the LI was revoked. 10th of December 2025, that was when the LI was revoked. If you've revoked an LI for the forest areas, and after the revocation, Now the forest areas have increased from 45 to 50. What have you done? It tells me that you are not performing, you are not working. It tells me that you are giving me a lame dark excuse that, oh, we are still fighting, we know the people. July 15th, 2025, the president issued an order that his national organizer, Yamin, and his vice chairman, Abanga, should be investigated and reports made available. Till date, 8 months down the line, you haven't heard anything and nothing has been said. Now he's telling us that the fight against Galamsey, if he doesn't say that some party apparatchickens are involved, then he's making a grave mistake. From day one, didn't you know? When you told us that, oh, we know the people involved, and the big people are going to be attacked because they are the people buying all these champagnes and excavators and things. When his land minister came to tell us that, oh, out of the 45, they've been able to quadrone over over 30 sites, and the remaining 15 that were being hounded by foreign nationals who were having guns and all those things in the forest. They are still fighting them, and very soon they'll get them out. Now, his own people are doing the investigations and they are coming out with results that the so-called over 30 that he is taking over have now become 50 red zone areas that the government can fight the people out, or the government is helping the people to fight Galamsey. So it brings me to another question. What happened to the MCE, Honorable Ado Akins Jr., who alleged that the chairman of Ebuakwa South, his son, is seriously involved in Galamsey in Ebuakwa forest? To date, nothing has been done. What has happened to the DC Emmanuel Ajiman of Amanse Central, who says they take tax from the machines so that they can run their districts? Till date, he's in office. If you are even to take a slight example of this, in 2019, the DCE for Denchira West was sacked from his job by Nanado, because when he was fighting Galamsey, he mentioned that they can't do without Galamsey because that's what the people get in that area. They sacked him. Then you come to August 1st, 2023, the DCE for Bosome Frehom, Yao Danso, was sacked from his job. He was first suspended. Investigations were made and he was sacked from his job for getting himself involved in Galamsey. Two bright examples I've given you. I've given you 3 examples of the NDC that they can't touch anybody.
But what happened to the Kwabena Frimpong report?
The Kwabena Frimpong report himself. You are the chairman of, they've made you a chairman of a committee. You sit on a committee, and it's only when they sack you that you can produce a report that there are people involved in this. When even your son has been mentioned in the game. If you are going to go that way, we will dirty ourselves even more. Because your son was mentioned. You did a report after you've left. You've been withdrawn as a minister. It speaks a lot. It tells you that he was not performing. That's why they withdrew him as a minister. So out of pain, out of anger, let me just write a report and destroy everybody. Mention names. When you were there and you were made the chairman of the committee to make sure that people don't go and do Galamsey, what was your job? And why couldn't you stop them? So we shouldn't even, his dismissal alone was a sign that if you attempt, and I've given you 2 others, and in fact, thank you for adding him to it, because he's the 3rd person who could not perform and was sacked from his job. He's the 3rd person as a minister who was in charge of making sure that all these Galamsey people will not will not get their understand. But my brother made a very interesting point, which is very true. 40% of all these resources are coming from our gold reserves. And I don't expect this to end today, especially when you have the president's brother taking a loan of over $100 million and purchasing black water, legitimate, isn't it?
It's a local business.
Thank you very much. Then we have the brother again. After taking a loan, I have been in the banking world. You haven't started business there to even show that you are repaying that loan, and you are going to buy another reserve, gold reserves, or the what do you call it, land site from gold fields. With how much loan or how much facility are you taking? Nobody knows. Is it an avenue? I'm asking. Is it an avenue where they will use that to buy from the illegal miners and sell it to gold bot? Is it an avenue? We need to know. We are asking questions because we are all scared in this country that if they don't know, they would leave office and go because they only have 2.5 more years to go. They'll leave office. A new set will come. Whoever it is, but I believe that Dr. Bamia will come. But whoever it is would now have to come and fight the canker of all these water bodies that have been destroyed, of all these forest areas that have been destroyed, of all these galamseys that have gone wrong, and nobody is saying anything about it. We are not seeing foreigners being tried and deported. We are not seeing foreigners being stopped from coming in to do Galamsey. They told us that the Burkinabes are the people holding the guns and ammunitions in the forest areas, and they are preventing even the government officials from going there to inspect the forest areas. Look at us today. We sit here 8 years down the line, 7 years, 6 years, 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, a year ago down the line, still talking about Galamsey water bodies, the forest areas. When will this stop? When will we have bold leaders to say that, listen, I don't care what it will take me. I don't care who would even attack me. But this has to stop. Let's do things right for once. It's up to them.
Right, you're still listening to the forum here on Asasi Radio 99.5 in Accra. We're also streaming live on Facebook on Asasi Radio 99.5. Do send us your thoughts and comments. I'm beginning to see some messages come up under our stream. Keep sending those messages in a chat. I'll be sharing those messages with the world. Let me say a very good morning to Kwame Jantwa. He's a senior member of the CPP and, of course, a private legal practitioner, a very good friend to the show. Mr. Jantwa, good morning to you.
You didn't add that he's a runaway 2024 presidential candidate for CPP. For CPP. You
Mr.
didn't
Jantwa,
go.
it's good to have you in the studio. Good morning to you.
It's good to be back. I haven't been here for nearly first quarter of this year.
Wow.
Part of December. Yes, it's good to be back in the studio. It's good to be in this chair. And good morning to all my panel members. For this man, me and him eat goblet together, so that one, I didn't even have to greet him. We haven't met before. And gentlemen, they have met before.
Mr. Jantwa, I want to ask
and
you.
Good morning to our Facebook panel.
Yeah.
They are always part of the
super
show.
set.
Right.
Yeah.
They are the show.
Right.
We are the commentators.
What does it take to exercise political will?
Let me start with President Akufo-Addo's famous quote.
I'm putting my
Can't pay Dede. And I'll add to that, Kasa and pay Dede. Plenty shouting is noise, isn't it? Plenty talking. Is noise, isn't it? Send me a sikam pay Dede, no? San Kasa son pay Dede. We should get off our backsides and do something about this menace. So let me ask a question. What is the main result of a war? What is the main result of a war? I'm asking you. You're a journalist. What's the main result of the war?
To see change.
The war going on in the Middle East. The war going on in other parts of the world. What is the main result of it? Wasn't it destruction? Isn't it destruction? With Galamsey, what is happening? Are they not destroying the land and the water bodies? And if it is destruction, the kind of initiatives that we are taking, are they strong enough? Are those initiatives strong enough? A small group of people want to kill 33 million people.
Yes.
And we are sitting doing what?
Watching.
Talking on radio and talking on TV. And not have the political will to move and work on it. Me, I've said, and I continue to say, Comrade President Mahama has to be ruthless with Galamsey. I won't take myself away from that particular quote I said. He has to be ruthless. And how are you ruthless? Have we been to war before? Has Ghana been to war before? When was the last time Ghana went to war? What is the nearest we've got to war? Our peacekeeping, do we go and fight? The nearest we've got to war in Ghana is coup. No be so? True or false? It's coup. I've seen all the coups in this country. And all the coups, some of them have been part and parcel inside. I've seen all the coups in this country. What is the army doing in the barracks? The army, what is it doing in the barracks? Is it shining the armored vehicles and shining the equipment they have and only come and parade it on Independence Day? Is that what they are doing? If President Mahama is going to be ruthless, move the army in there. It is a war. What did I just say? Did I not ask what does it mean to have a war? Destruction. And one of the major life ingredients, water, is being destroyed. And we are sitting there doing what? What do you call it was right. Alfred was right when he said, we are tired. I'm tired. When you came, if you watched me, I was going through my notes. I was looking through my notes. And this is the latest diary I used for my notes. From the beginning of 2017, going through, I could see Galamsey plenty in my notes. I decided I'm not going to take notes what anybody is saying because I have written everything down. What are we doing? What are we doing? Why are we sitting and just talking on radio and TV and talking and nobody is taking action? Why? It is President Mahama's responsibility. He's the commander-in-chief. And I said it during President Akufo-Addo's time. This thing is a collective fight. It is not an individual fight. It is not a fight for a political party. It's a collective fight. And leaders should come together collectively to take decisions to attack this menace. How can a small group of people poison all of us? It doesn't make sense. Small group of people. And we are not collectively fighting it. So, President Akufo-Addo came. He did his bit. He's gone. President Mahama is coming. He's doing his bit. He's gone. 28, someone, they will always do their bit. Always do their bit. And the thing will be going wrong. In fact, you can say these small bits everybody is doing. Is it not causing financial loss to the state? Are we not using the state's money for NIMOS? Didn't President Akufo-Addo use the state money for other things?
Yeah.
But one thing we should learn from one of the moves President Akufo-Addo did that he couldn't sustain. When he came in and he banned mining for 2 years, what happened? And this is when a chirimadrin, I don't want to say it in English because it's serious. When a chirimadrin, why can't we ban small scale mining, Galamsey, whatever, for duration of time and structure it properly? Why? That bit, I can't understand. Because if it's structured well, we will all go into it.
How do we make for the revenue shortfalls?
Which revenue shortfalls? Which revenue shortfalls are you talking about? Where do we export our gold to? Where? Small scale mining gold, Galamsey gold. Where do we export it to?
Can we export that gold to America or Britain or to other European countries? We can't. Because the thought is that a lot of the gold that we are mining or we're doing is illegal. It's illegal. And I have said, and I continue to say, this thing is getting worse. Shoot to kill. If you don't shoot to kill, shoot to maim. Because those young men and women who they are arresting them, their mother, grandmother, hey, Kubi, Pacho, Uncle, so, and now you kun yaw. You who say Galamsey, you become Pacho Jai, you pay before from ye. It's a Galamsey, intimate kuku. Yes, initially it will cause rancor, but it will stabilize. It will stabilize. Look, how can people decide? During President Kufuor's time, did you not see sheep giving birth to 2 heads? You know, I've got it on my phone. Do you not see it? And worst of all, the kind of diseases that we are getting, is our health sector strong enough to handle those diseases? The type of challenges pregnant women are going through. Today, our food, the local food, not the international type of food, what Alfred was talking about, bacon and sausage, kontombre, bayire, cassava,
Banchi.
Right, Banchi. Right now, we don't even know the pollutants in these foods, but we have to eat it. And we are sitting doing what? Talking? No. I expect after President Mohammed's meeting with the CSOs, he calls a meeting of all leaders in this country. All leaders in this country. Let's sit and have a plan attacking Galamsey. Where's the plan? Where is the plan? Tell me, you're a journalist. Anybody around the table should tell me, where is the plan for Galamsey? Is it NIMOS? If it is NIMOS, does NIMOS have all the requisite equipment to fight this thing? Especially when you have foreigners coming in. And you see, for me, the dangerous bit is when it turns into the kind of terror you see in South America with cocaine, where you get cartels in different areas, and very soon each cartel would take a particular area and nobody can go in there. And who suffers? The people in those areas. What? How many forest reserves? From 45 to 50? Look, right now, and Wisdom is here, gentleman is here. Which is the only safest water body we have in Ghana today? Which is it? The Volta Lake. Fresh water, the Volta Lake. And even on the Volta Lake, I'm on the committee that is looking at the compensation for the Akosombo village. And some of the areas we've been to, people are fighting. VRA is fighting people from doing Galamsey on the banks, on the Volta banks.
Can you imagine?
They are
Near
fighting.
the water lake.
Yes, they are fighting. And the moment you are not careful and sediment gets into the Volta Lake, forget electricity.
All our distance gone.
Forget electricity. Because today, the Volta Lake produces and supports our electricity generation. And if that lake gets silted, we are finished. We are finished. So what are we sitting doing?
Talking.
The Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, my good friend Amabua, who I've worked with when he was Energy Minister, when he took office, one of the things he said to us that we will nip the kingpins in the bud. We will expose them. What kingpin has been exposed?
Not even one.
What kingpin has been exposed? And it goes to show you that politicians are in this game. Because the speaker said to us, and we all heard it, he told parliamentarians, we know you people who are in this Galamsey, stop it. Why are we not exposing them?
Asantehene said same.
Why are we not exposing them? Why are we leaving chiefs who are giving lands for Galamsey? Why are we not arresting them? Why?
Because of political interference.
What political interference? That political interference should be nipped in the bud. That's the first point of call. And yes, President Hama has said any of the politicians they find, what do you call it, doing what? Doing Galamsey, they were arrested. Look, I say this story all the time. And my father was Minister of Agriculture in Nkrumah's regime. My father said, when Kwame Nkrumah calls you because of an issue he's had, make sure your facts are right. Because before he calls you, he's done his homework. He knows exactly what is going on. So when he calls you and you don't speak the truth, remember that 1 o'clock, you're out. 1 o'clock news, you're out. You're out. I expect President Mahama to have his own intelligence where Galamsey is concerned. Don't depend on anybody's intelligence. Your own intelligence. Go in there. See what is happening. See those who are creating this havoc. You see, in this country, we are scared to speak to power. We are scared to speak to power. As if the people we put in there are gods. Nobody else who put them there. Are they not responsible to us? Are they responsible to anybody? No, they're responsible to us. So we should be able to tell our leaders that the way you're going, we don't like it. Change the trajectory. Change it. And this trajectory of Galamsey needs to be changed because it's not going anywhere. Look, I said during President Akufo-Addo's time, I said, Ghanaians, if you are really serious about this Galamsey, the whole country should go on strike. The entire country should go on strike. If politicians don't sort this thing out, we aren't going to work. Lay down your tools. And let's see what will happen. Let's see what will happen. All politicians will collectively come together. Parliamentarians, are they not friends? They come out and make it look as if they are loggerheads. But within their own guaguagua, are they not friends? Apart from that, are they not Ghanaians? Apart from that, do they not see the mess? Because it's gradually creeping into the cities, central region. Is it not a Galamsey hub? And the sad bit about it all is when you fly over the coast and you see the brown water entering the sea. What does that tell you? What does that tell you?
Fishes are in trouble.
Look, you can decide to mine and not mine. Why? Because in the gold industry, there are ways of extracting gold. And in this country, there's something called tailings. You know what tailings are?
Yeah.
You know what tailings are? Do you know the quantum of gold you can get out of tailings? Do you know the quantum of gold? So if you were to structure it well, protect the water bodies first, and structure it properly, out of the small scale mining that they do, the tailings alone gives you more gold. Gives you more gold. And it can be structured properly. Look, there are about 2 Chinese companies in the Western region who are doing tailings. They've increased their profit by 300%. Yes, just from tailings alone. So why don't we want to structure this thing? The entire country is covered in gold. Entire country. And we've mined, really and truly, we've mined only about 20 to 25% of the gold. We are Ghana, we are Africa's #1 country for deposits, not exports, deposits of gold. And #6 in the world. What are we sitting there doing? The thing will make money for us. The thing will make money for Ghanaians. Structure it properly. Look, when I was growing up, the security services, when they advertised for employees, nobody went. Nobody went. Today, what happens? So you see the number of people who have applied for security service jobs. How many got it? Just a few. What are you doing with the rest? If you were to structure Galamsey and the small scale industry well, can you not train them to go into small businesses to produce gold? And if they produce gold, who benefits? Isn't it the country? Isn't it the country? So where is the plan? And that plan has to be collective. President Kufuor, he has experience in Galamsey. President Mahama is experienced in Galamsey. President Kufuor has experience in Galamsey. Chiefs, they have experience in Galamsey. CSOs, they have experience in Galamsey. What are we doing with all the experience? What are we doing with all the experience if we are not sitting down together to think, brainstorm, and come out with solutions? What? Because President Akufo-Addo at that meeting will say, my experience in Galamsey, in small-scale mining, was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. President Mahama will say the same. President Kufuor will say the same. But the JB chief will say the same. Otumfo will say the same. They'll all bring it out, and then they will sit and put something together. The CSOs are there. They have experience in Galamsey, in the regions. Look, second half of 2020, third half of 2026, we are going onshore. We are going onshore to prospect and explore for oil. If we find oil on a Galamsey pit or a Galamsey mine, what will happen? What will happen? That's why it is important for us to plan this thing properly and handle this thing properly and make sure that we have a solution once and for all. President Akufo-Addo was in for 8 years. No be so? President Mahama will be in for 4 years. How many years is that?
12.
Huh?
12.
And we are saying that in 12 years we can't find solution? Are we serious? 12 years. We can't find a solution to this problem, and it's still increasing. And you see, the worst bit of it all, and I'm sure you've been hearing the Americans tell us that the West African sub-region is one of the hottest spots for terrorism. What fuels terrorism? Isn't it finance? They need money to buy guns and buy all these things. And if they will not attack Ghana, and they see that Galamsey is an easier way to make money, will they not come in here, those terrorists, to try and dig gold and make money? Will they not? And so, indirectly, we will be fueling terrorism within the sub-region. The challenges are massive. We cannot sit and twiddle our toes and twiddle our thumbs and feel that we are doing something great, because we are not. Look, when President Mahama was talking at, the CSOs, where he talked about the MCEs, and he said they should be trained better. You know, when I heard it, I said to myself, train better. Why should they be trained better?
By who?
It's not even by the who. What they did is isn't it illegal? President Mahama himself said you cannot tax Shamfans because it's an illegal thing. Isn't it an illegal act?
Yeah.
When you do an illegal act, what happens to you?
Yeah.
You're innocent and proven guilty, but you're taken to court.
Yeah.
So why should we train them? Because they don't understand. If MCEs is being handled throughout the country, are you trying to tell me that they don't understand? They feel it's an easier way to make money. And anybody who tries to use Galamsey to make money, destroying our water bodies, destroying our lands, should be prosecuted. Shouldn't be left free, whether MCE or chief or anything. In fact, we've left the chiefs too laxed. Are they not the ones giving the lands out? Are they not? The only chief, maybe because I'm Ashanti boy and I only know things about Ashanti. Bema Osebunsu, the late Bema Osebunsu, Mampohene, keeper of the silver stool of Ashanti, dared anybody to come and do Galamsey in Mampong. Dared anybody to come and do Galamsey in Mampong. Go to Mampong today, nobody is doing Galamsey. Are you trying to tell me that the other chiefs cannot do the same thing? Are you trying to tell me this? Look, this selfish greed that we have, where money takes precedence above everything, has to stop. Because you see through the fabric of our governance in this country. Everybody wants money. Everybody is greedy. They don't care whether the place spoils or it doesn't spoil. Can we live like that? Can we? I'm in CSOs. I believe that CSOs at this point should stop the talking and take action.
Sharp.
The media, you guys started. What happened? Were you stopped?
Media coalition.
Were you stopped?
We're still working.
We don't see thing. You're still working. We don't see thing. But when you started, see how people were supporting you.
They've been called to the Jubilee.
People were supporting you. And the question of money has come in because some of you have been paid money to keep quiet. To keep quiet.
They've been called to the Jubilee.
And it doesn't help us. Look, President Mahama should be, even if he can't completely stop Galamsey, he should try his possible best to stop Galamsey at least 70%. It's his last term, isn't it?
Should leave a legacy.
It's his last term. The same way he did with Dumso, he should do with Galamsey. He should do with Galamsey.
Is Dumso completely out?
Huh? But it's not as rampant as it was before.
Right.
It's not as rampant. Look, when you fly from Kumasi to Accra and you are entering the airspace of Accra and you see everywhere light, it's enjoyable.
Right.
Before, don't stop me. You gave other people chance. Before, when you were flying, Dumso
has started.
Oh,
Dumso
please.
started.
Well,
Has started.
it's not as bad as before.
Oh.
Well, they are now
not as
calling it
bad.
maintenance.
It's not as
they
bad as
call it maintenance.
Let's see.
They even use
If it
for-
continues, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But for me, it is not a question of talking about it. It's a question
Right.
of action.
Mm.
Galamsey is a
you.
complex issue that needs complex solutions. And that complex solution should be a collective solution so that any government that comes in is following that solution. Otherwise, a government to come in and do what they feel is right. Another government come in and do what they feel is right. It's not helping the cause. Particularly water bodies. Look, there is a UN charter. Even in war, you are not supposed to touch water bodies. It's a criminal offense to touch water bodies. What's happening? What's happening? All these young boys that you are arresting, somebody is financing them. Who? We know politicians who are into Galamsey. Why aren't you exposing them? What is stopping us exposing them? And I would wish that my good friend, the minister, should take a radical turn and publish names of people who are financing Galamsey. The embassies, especially the Chinese embassy, Ghana's embassy in China, those people should be held responsible too. Because anytime you go and ask for a visa, when you go, have you been to America before? I've been on a course with you before in the UK. No be so?
Right.
When you went for a visa, what did they ask you? What was the first thing they asked you? What are you going to do in Britain? Don't they ask you? And you've got to show cogent reasons why you want to go to the country. So when those Chinese people are coming, what did they say? When they ask them, what did they say? Because you see, the moment the Chinese people land in here, they don't even go and sleep in our hotels. They go straight to the rural areas because they've already made their connections. And those people who are aiding and abetting, President Mahama has called for repatriation for slave trade. Some of us helped the slave traders. Same thing we are doing. Those people should be taken on seriously for us to see them. Sometimes I say, if NIMOS, instead of arresting those people, you know what you do? When you catch them, lash them, give them lashes. Did we not do it at Circle once upon a time? When people were destroying Circle, did we not do it at Circle? Where we were lashing people, did people go there again?
And they should drink some of the water.
I don't understand it. I don't understand. Look, UTAG, this was what's my date? 12th of August 2025. UTAG said they'll go on strike because of Galamsey. What happened?
They've been called to the
So
Julie
the
House.
political will is not only on politicians. The political will is through the chain. We
Yes,
should
yes.
all be serious enough to say enough is enough. We set a date. If this thing, we don't see positive action, this country, we are closing it down. Let's see what will happen. It will make international news, won't it? It will put pressure on the politicians to act, won't it?
Right. You're still here on the forum on Asasi Radio 99.5 in Accra. Let me go over to Yao Pokumengsa. He's joining us via Zoom. He's the member of the NPP's communications team. Yao, let me come to you. You've been patiently holding the line there. Many have called for a bipartisan approach in the fight against Galamsey. Are you ready to have a cross pact with the National Democratic Congress in fighting this environmental menace?
From where I sit, I don't think there is nothing like a cross pact between political parties in the fight against Galamsey. And I think we need to be able to look into the historical antecedent to this whole narration, especially from I think 2012 coming, and when the former minister for I think environment made a pronounced statement that government in 2016 has given up on the fight against Galamsey, and again be able to put into proper context the historical involvement of foreigners within the mining areas where we first heard of the introduction of champagne on our water bodies with regards to Galamsey activities. Now, listening to the narration from panel members, there is a clearer understanding of what political motive can give us the best of results that we are looking for. A specific mention is what Nana Danko Akufo-Addo was able to do in 2 years with the sole banding on Galamsey activities and the result that we got from that end. And I think President Mahama, with the experience way back from 2012, where the influx of these foreigners were at its apex end, the introduction of all kind of equipment that we've never had before on our water bodies, mining deeply, which resulted in various issues within our communities, transferring same to Nana Danko Akufo-Addo till the Nana Danko Akufo-Addo's government expired. And we are still seeing the same continuation of what we saw in 2012, which deepened the conversation on why some demonstrations, etc., happened. But if you judge the approach of this government, I don't see any difference in what we witnessed prior to his first term in office way back in 2012. And that is why I don't see where the political pact should be, because he has enough experience on his shoulders and on his hands to be able to lead us in a better resolve to ensuring that we get the results as we are seeking for. And if we are not getting that, it tells how deep government is in this whole menace of Galamsey or illegal activity. I was just reading on the internet where in the Ashanti region, tax on mining activities were directed by the regional minister, and the mode as to what they are supposed to collect, what they are not supposed to collect, inspection of equipment before they allow them enter into the tax net, etc. When you put all these together, it tells of a certain shift in what were preached prior to the 2024 elections and the actions that we are seeing in this current administration. Forget about the allegations of officials of the NDC negative in this activity. And again, the narration of certain high profile people supporting certain individuals to mine illegally, and especially the withdrawal of the IGP men from mining areas where, for example, you had the secretary for concerned miners, whatever, asking miners to go back to site because they shouldn't fear what the police people will come and do at the site, leading to all sort of activities where even community people with arms fighting the police neck on in certain areas should tell you the consistency and the deliberate approach of the government of the day, enabling its people to be within that mining space, as was promised prior to the 2024 election by that same Concerned Miners Association and their former, I don't know whether if he's still part of the current NDC administration, the political party, Kwaku Buahen, visiting mining site and giving them that support that when the change of government comes, they will continue with their work. Previously, we were all preaching against all forms of mining, especially whether be it a small-scale mining or whatever, classified as doing illegal activities. Now, we are rather encouraging people to be in the space, giving them the opportunity or the authority to enter into district where they are even given task stamps to contribute something to the district assemblies. Then it comes, what political pact is needed when government has demonstrated that only what it does best is to give a certain PR to the people for them to see that, oh, we are dealing with the issue, but on the grounds is the opposite of what we are seeing. And that is why, listening to all the narration, it tells that government rather deceived us by blaming Akonta Mining and Chairman Wontumi as the sole enabler in this whole conversation of illegal mining in this country. And I strongly believe that if we are truthful to this cause, government owes Chairman Wontumi an apology.
How so?
Yes, an apology in telling the world that he was that enabler, and once he is out of that space, we are not going to see this again. And what are we discussing now? And what is the narration from the coalition that started that whole campaign during Nana Akufo-Addo's time? And now we are saying we are begging, let us do this. We want everybody on the table to do what? To do what? Straight away, that political will can never be seen, or that seriousness can never be seen under the leadership of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. We should forget about that narration. It is high time we begin to listen to the voices that tells us where we need to cut off to be able to take people out of the mining space, the illegal mining space. Just do a simple search as to the transition rate from junior high school to senior high school within the mining areas, and you get to understand why the dipping in this whole conversation will be able to help out in taking some individuals out of that whole mining scheme. And if that is the path that we seek to do, that will be good enough to support the BAME to be able to ensure that communities within that area do have that livelihood that they are comfortable with, and the assurance from the state that once these individuals or the young men transitional rate within that space are taken off that space, we will be able to get certain results so that we wouldn't even have that manpower to be doing that mining as we see now. But if you ask me that we need a pact between political parties to be able to fight this, I don't see how that will be beneficial to this whole process, because government has demonstrated enough for us to see and understand that they are not committed to anything whatsoever within the mining space. All that we heard of was for a political capital and they got that. And that is where Ghanaians, we need to advise ourselves that we cannot put our hopes on President Mahama to be able to give us a result in this Biden thing. No, it will never happen. And I think those that he campaigned vigorously against, that they were rather in that fold, we demand an apology from him so that we all be healed and begin to put our solutions to be able to put this away from our conversation with regards to illegal activities. So for me, judging from all the individual speakers, I think what we can now do is to deepen the fire on the back of government to do what is needful and stick to the narrative of what they gave us prior to the 2024 elections. If they are able to do that, of which I know definitely they cannot be able to do that, if they are able to do that, then we will see some commitment and the call for bipartisan or whatever political conversation, or we coming around the table to think whatever, probably can have some comfort, and that conversation can actually be heard. As I sit and where judging from what I'm hearing from lawyer Jantua, expert within that area, etc., I don't see where we are going to get any solutions with regards to the approach that government has taken. Now, miners are comfortable because they know once they get into the district, there is a certain desk that they only have to pay their taxes out, go and do their work. What form of monitoring is happening, nobody knows, and thrown everything out there for them to do whatever they suit them best. Now, there is always a correlation between where the country sees the benefit of mining activities into the kitty, of giving some comfort to some big weights within that space to be able to contribute to the political fortunes. And that has been demonstrated across the political divide. And therefore, I find it very challenging putting a stop to this whole conversation about illegal mining, etc. Once we see it as a livelihood, then the conversation should be about how can we do a sustainable mining. If that is the case, then what should be the welfare system that mining district will get as a result of these activities within their areas? In some jurisdictions where minerals are part of their whole system, the people in there are given some comfort, like an education up to the tertiary level. They have some comfort within some amenities that are made simple for them as a means of what is happening in their communities or in their jurisdiction, whereby the process from that end goes into the development of that particular area. If we look at it from that perspective, that socioeconomic fortunes for these areas, then we will see the benefits of what mining brings into the national buffer as part of the total development of the country. Else, if that is not the conversation, and the conversation is about we stopping Galamsey or we stopping what is termed as illegal mining, where the statistic, just like by some of the earlier speakers said, that 1 million people are involved and their livelihood depends on that, then it tells that we need to broaden the conversation out of this narration of illegal mining and rather be looking at how best can we form a sustainable element and use that as a means to transform the fortunes of those living within that mining areas, so that we can accrue or get the benefit of what mining brings. Else, it will continue to be a lamentation from one end to the other. But I think that government owes the good people of Ghana an apology for what they did in 2024 and what the result that we are seeing, especially so when they tagged Akonta Mining and Chairman Wontumi as the enablers. And now, if they are out of the space and we are still seeing this, then it tells that the issue or the problem or the challenge has nothing to do with that individual and has nothing to do with that aspect of people entering into that area, but people are looking for a means to be able to survive. It is the responsibility of the state to shepherd us into a more sustainable element in ensuring that we get the full benefit of what mining brings, and those within that enclave also enjoys the fruit of what mining brings to the table for a transformed socioeconomic development rather than what we are seeing. And that is my take on this whole mining activity.
Just a minute.
Okay.
The bit on Chairman Woon to me, was he not an arrowhead? Was he not an arrowhead? Did he not mine in forest areas?
They said he was made to be the sole arrowhead.
It's not a question of being the sole arrowhead. He did an illegal activity.
Lawyer, there is no
Wait,
Chairman Wood to me being an arrowhead and doing an illegal activity. Even for the record, when he was yes, it is true. Even for the record, when he was the first time his issue went to court way back in 2015, he won against the state.
And others
He
also
won
are doing
against
a
the
wrong
state lawyer.
act.
And therefore, if, per the narration that we are hearing from government, if he is out of the space and we are still seeing minor activities, how then do we term him as the arrowhead
He couldn't have been the
of what
only
is
one.
currently happening
He
within?
couldn't have been the only one. He couldn't. It would be ludicrous.
We
to
were
think
told
it would be
that
ludicrous
once
to
he
think
is
that
out
he
of
was the
that
only one
state,
doing it.
we will not see
Ludicrous.
illegal mining
But
activities
his was-
in this
was
country
quite
again.
Spectacular.
Government owes him an apology, and we demand that.
Government
that
owes
government do
nobody
that.
an apology for
Government
legal
should see
mining.
that he
Government
was
owes
the
nobody
arrowhead,
an
and once
apology
he's
for
out of
legal
that state,
mining.
There wouldn't
No,
be
what's
any
illegal
conversation
mining?
about illegal
He
mining.
was doing
And now they are giving out permits for
Forest-
people to pay taxes and go and do mining.
It's part and
This is
parcel
what
of
government is
Galamsey.
doing.
Go and check his
Please,
the
let's
charges.
stop it.
It's not.
Alfred, let's
You know, we
stop
have the
it.
same,
It's not.
the same
It
thing
is
when
wrong.
They sent
Wisdom
him to
was
court on a far
talking. I was
different
having the
issue.
same
Wrong.
question on that.
Unless,
After all
even
this, they
if
sent
we
him to court on a
follow the
different
court
issue.
proceedings,
Let's be
we'll
truthful.
get to understand that our contact mining is not involved in any Galamsey activity.
Thank you.
It is wrong. Oh. Let's stop this. Oh.
Right.
Let's stop this. Let's stop this blind support. That is not helping
Ask
us.
the government
Let's
why
stop
they
it.
sent him to court.
I don't care what the government sent him to court
Nobody,
on. He was
nobody
doing
gives
wrong.
them blind
Where?
support. When we are
Nobody can
speaking
tell me
to the
that
fact,
Chairman Wontumi wasn't doing
lied
Galamsey.
to us.
Nobody.
Government
Galamsey,
let's stop
deceived
it.
us that he was the arrowhead, and we are not seeing. And once he is out of the space,
These are
and
the
if we are
things-
still
these are the
seeing
things
that,
that
this-
hamper
then
the
it's
progress
not-
of the
what
fight
the-
for
what
Galamsey.
it means is that
These are the
government is
things.
rather the arrowhead.
politics
It's
out of
illegal
it.
mining.
When,
All right.
my brother Wisdom was
Politics out
referring
of
to
it.
that,
Government take him to court.
he's not
Okay.
an illegal miner.
All
Yes,
right.
but he engaged in illegal mining.
Let's go to
in the
Facebook.
town on the Mill
Let-
Forest.
let's go to Facebook and take some comments that are coming through from our listeners who have joined us. First comment I see here, Sylvester Boateng. Okay, raising some concerns with the quality of the voice on Facebook. Says we cannot hear, it's a bit too low. Well, Sylvester, we'll rectify that. I hope you can hear us loud and clear now. Abdul Basit Mahama says, in July 2025, Ghana's Attorney General and Minister of Justice directed the Economic and Organized Crime Office, that's YOCO, to investigate Yakubu Abanga and Joseph Yamin over alleged involvement in illegal mining. Ask the NDC rep what has come out of that. 9 months on,
You can't even talk.
he doesn't know and he doesn't care. Issa, what has come of the people?
I refer the same thing. In fact, I had some clarification to make before. I said it here right now that Chairman Wontumi was engaged in illegal mining in the town on the Mary Forest.
No, I'm saying
So,
that what
yes.
has happened to Abanga and Joseph,
They
you
are
know.
still under investigation.
Right.
They are still under investigation. And we all know that they are still under investigation.
All right, so
Breaking the investigation.
Abdul Basit Mahama, I hope you got the answer for that question.
Breaking the
well,
investigation.
Still under
I check-
investigations.
Kwaje Free
No, that's
says
better
that
than
good
president
contributions.
supporting you, not doing, but you are doing it.
Okay, let me just finish the comment.
All right,
I'll come back
all
to
right.
you. Kwaje Free on Facebook says, good contributions, my brother Wisdom. Kasek is really proud of you. Oh, you're an old student of Kasek. Fantastic. Abdul Basit Mahama comes back and says that the president just admitting that members of his own government are involved in illegal mining without telling us those who are is an insult and can be seen as fighting it. He wasn't being honest. What he actually meant was that the fight has been lost. Christopher Abbey says that Ghana under President Mahama is a crime scene, total failure and showboating. All he does is lip service and always tries to take credit for the things the past government did. And that's a comment from Christopher Abbey. He thinks so. Sylvester Watson says, good morning once again. The reality is finally dawning on us. The fight in Galamsey cannot be just a magical approach and command from the president to end it. CSOs never listened to anything from the past administration, but now would listen to reasons from the government for their inability to end Galamsey, as they preferred previously in the opposition. The goodwill is expiring, and indeed it will expire, and we shall end to the means of using deception and mischief to win political power. On the other note, the same is happening in the food sector, because there have been plenty rain through 2025 crop year, and even in this year, the government wants to believe that they are playing some important role in where there is food and food inflation continues to drop. The National Deception Congress is in power and the mess have started. Well, that's a comment from Sylvester Watson. Christopher Abbey says, Mr. Janto, this is a fight for the NDC. What do you mean it's a collective fight? The NDC, when in opposition, said the NPP government is useless and even went as far as insulting the president, Mahama.
I've been talking about collective fight since President Akufo-Addo's time.
Right.
Not now.
Okay.
Including chiefs, including political leaders, including CSOs. I've been talking about it for years.
More comments on
today.
Facebook here. Lee Teko said, John Mahama and his government has become okay, not quite a pleasant word. He knows the people doing it, but it has come so hard for him because his own people are doing it. Mr. Ho, do you know that our cocoa has been rejected because of Galamsey? February 2025, Japanese officials came to Ghana to test our soil and waters, and they discovered that has prompted them to put a stop of buying our cocoa. Okay, that's the reason why John Mahama said we're going to add value to our cocoa and make it use of. Okay, not quite clear. All right, so you're listening to the forum here on Asase Radio 99.5 in Accra. Those were some of the messages of yours on Facebook. I would urge you to keep on sending the messages. Keep them very simple and short so that I'll be able to read. Make them succinct, if you will. Besides that, in a world that sometimes feels a bit loud, finding a moment of peace is essential. This Easter weekend, join Asase Radio 99.5 in Accra, in Kumasi on 98.5, 100.3 in Cape Coast for the 169th Annual General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It's a global broadcast focused on the teachings of Christ, coming to you live across Ghana. The date is 4th April 2026, Saturday afternoon. It's actually live program. The time is 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And the date, again, is 5th April 2026. That's for the Sunday morning, a rebroadcast of Saturday's afternoon's program. And it's between 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Music and spoken word. The time is 3:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. You'd want to join them for that. Well, let's move to our next issue. You want to make an intervention?
I think my senior lawyer Jantua made a very good point. He made a very good point about whether we should ban small-scale mining activities. Okay, in 2018, as in 2017-18, when the MPP administration banned small-scale mining, it is surprising to indicate that in 2018, Ghana overtook South Africa as a leading producer of gold. And that year, small-scale mining sector contributed the highest gold ever, 43%. This is to tell you that, with all due respect, banning small-scale mining. That is why, personally, when I hear politicians talk about state of emergency, when the CSOs were being, excuse my words, that's why, I kept saying that the CSOs are also part of our problem. Because the kind of pressure they put on government sometimes, like what they are doing to the NDC government, maybe it's just a face saving. Sometimes some of their actions It's not rooted in any theory or in any practicality. Because when you ban their activity, fine, there are some school of thought. Not to say their thoughts is not right, please. They feel that, see, let's put a stop to this, like our senior man just said, and let's see how best we can put things in place. It's a very good thinking. But we have tried it before. And in that year, the goal that came from that sector was even the highest ever. And it's still the highest to date. So it tells that when there is a ban, regulation totally fails. Mm. And the people that are deployed to even go and maintain that ban, they even go up and even add up to ensure the illegality continues. Shoot to kill positive. But this issue about illegal mining, where we want to bring Chairman Wontumi in, we need to distinguish something very clearly. The case of Abanga and who? Yamen. Was any company mentioned attached to their names? Have you heard any company?
Nope.
No. So that should tell you that there is a distinction between a company undertaking an activity, right? And somebody involving in an activity without a company. There's a lot of people, some are sitting on the water bodies now as we speak, undertaking illegal mining. You go to Minerals Commission, you will not even see their names. They don't have licenses. We have EMP, we have Goldfields, we have Newmont. Some years back, Anglo Ashanti, their tailings dam collapsed. Polluted water bodies in Tebre Bay area. Did we call the owner of Anglo Ashanti from South Africa to come to Ghana? No. We use the mining laws and rectified it. In some instances, we find the mining company. That is why we have the Inspectorate Division of the Minerals Commission. So if Chairman Wontumi has, and let's make this thing clear, Chairman Wontumi doesn't own any small-scale mining company. Akunta Mining is a large-scale, something. Facility. And if any of his activity has led to pollution of the environment or the water body, the necessary agency, just as Lawyer Jantua indicated, they must be dealt with. Yes. They must be dealt with. So there is a distinction. That is why when the Attorney General tried to use Wontumi's managing director as a witness against him. Now, where's the director? He has escaped because when you check the Minerals and Mining Regulations, General 2012, LI 2173, a holder of a mining lease has a responsibility to appoint a manager of the mine. So most of these multinational mining companies you are seeing in this country, the lease holders are not even in this country. They've just appointed managers and they are running their mining company. Chairman Wontumi did that, appointed somebody to be in charge. When you come to the Minerals and Mining Regulations 2012, LI 2182, which talks about a health safety technical, it states somewhere around Regulation 2122 states that the manager of the mine is responsible for the day-to-day running of the mining company and is responsible for the environmental stewardship. So if there is a case that Wontumi's company, which I'm not here to defend, has undertaken any activity that has polluted our water bodies, destroyed our forest reserves, the first person to question, per the laws of Ghana, is the manager of the mine. He's the manager. From there, Wontumi too can also absolve himself because he's at least a holder. The lawyers will determine whether he has a question
or not,
or culpable or not. So Wontumi must face the law. That one we all agree. Yeah. But we should not indicate anywhere that Wontumi is the cause of illegal mining across the whole country. Thank you very much.
Right. That was Wisdom Gomashi, Executive Director. Well, actually, an engineer and mining consultant. I also have here Alfred Thompson, NPP Treasurer Aspirants, and also the NPP National Communications Team. Ibrahim Issa Future, NDC National Communications Team. And joining us via Zoom is Yao Poku Mensah, NPP National Communications Team. I also have here Mr. Kwame Jantua, a senior member of the CPP and, of course, a private legal practitioner. Let's move on to our next topic, Galamsey, because it's been in the spotlight this week when President Mahama said that it's not a priority. And so our fundamental,
LGBT.
well, LGBT. Oh,
You said Galamsey.
I said Galamsey.
You like Galamsey.
Right.
He's not getting some of the gold, that's why.
Maybe I need some. So let's talk about LGBTQ plus, because it's been on the spotlight this past days when the president meeting CSO said that it is not a priority. Many think that comments by the president is inconsistent given his utterances in the past. In the lead up to the 2024 election, I have to keep referring to the NDC to the lead up to the 2024 because they wanted power and they said a lot of things. He said that he was committed to signing the bill. Now we have the same president saying that it's not a priority. People think it's inconsistent. Let me begin with Alfred. Alfred, the NPP thinks that what President Mahama said is very disingenuous and inconsistent given his earlier statement that he was committed to signing the anti-gay bill. Mm-hmm. But again, why should we believe the NPP? Because you were also in power. The same bill was tabled before you. We saw the running around and all the shenanigans that came with it. It wasn't signed into law. Should we believe that the NPP is given this criticism for the Ghanaian people, or she just wanted for power and currency as the NDC used it for?
You see, with this whole LGBTQ plus thing, it comes back to the same point that you raised on the Galamsey. When we are going for the Asen North by-election, one of the things that they used against NPP was that we're trying to get majority so that we don't work on the LGBTQ thing. And they were the famous words when you go down there that we're using was put in quotes, trumu trumu. It was sad. It was a sad episode.
That word is not radio worthy, so maybe TT or something.
Okay.
Right.
When you are using a local language, they said it's not radio worthy. When you are using English,
local language is better.
When you are using English language, it's okay for us to say LGBTQ or gayism or whatever it is. But our language is not good. We should learn how to use our language and use it well so that it sounds well in the ears of people. And we have to start doing that. There's nothing wrong with our language. Coming back to this thing, to your TT. How can you call that TT? Can you imagine, Mr. Jantwa?
Be comfortable and say the way you want to say it.
True, straight. That's all. Yeah, I can see that you can't speak.
Yeah,
you are speechless.
It's a bit uncomfortable.
Why is it uncomfortable?
Why is it uncomfortable?
Why is it uncomfortable?
It's our language.
Why is it uncomfortable?
It's our language.
Please go ahead.
English is not better than our local language.
Thank you.
It's not.
But LGBT,
the
translation,
that is the act.
yes.
What is it?
Loosely translated
that
as
is the act.
No.
What is LGBTQ?
What is
in your local
LGBTQI+?
language? What is
What
it?
is
It doesn't mean sexual consummation.
It means what?
It means what?
Identities.
Why are we
What?
fighting? Why are we fighting it?
Then let's leave them to
Because
be
of the
okay.
act.
Mm.
Because of the act of
Not
LGBTQI.
necessarily the act.
Backside act.
Not necessarily the act. It
What
doesn't
is
mean
it?
sexual consummation.
What does it mean?
Identities.
Identity that what? Please,
Right.
let's stop. Let's call it spade a
Alfred,
spade.
please.
Are you
make your
journalists?
point.
You're not helping us. Let's call it
Thank
spade
you.
a spade.
Thank you. I'm glad I have a lawyer here who is seeing what I'm going through. You see,
If he goes to court, what will they say? He acted in an uncarnal manner. What's that
what is
uncarnal
that
manner?
now?
But
In your,
backside.
no, even in our constitution, in our laws, we have the uncarnal knowledge.
that's if the act is established. But LGBTQ plus, and I want to
It's part
state
of it.
that-
Part of it.
I want to state that
They believe in a
doesn't-
particular
it
type
doesn't
of act.
mean sexual consummation.
Who said?
But it means
doesn't.
what?
It means what?
It means what?
Identities. I just
Identity
mentioned.
that what?
So if I identify you and you are not sexually
What
doing
are
anything, then what's the
heterosexuals
use?
identified by?
No, what's the use?
What are heterosexuals identified by?
Not every heterosexual have sex.
I said, Who said?
And it's not
Pape.
every. It's not
Pape
every.
Ufiri
Listen,
neighbor.
no. Okay, let's assume that what he's saying is true. It's not every guy that has
No, we
that
need
has
to
sex
define.
before.
We need to define what LGBTQI is before we get into the discussion.
Yeah.
And that is the challenge.
And in our local language, it's
Challenge.
trumu.
The act of it is the challenge. If it so happened that it was just hugging and being
Kissing or something, or touching, holding hands.
Yes, holding hands.
Then what is
do
the
you
use?
call it?
Right. So
Thank you.
let's speak to what President Mahama said. Is he a priority or not?
You came into government at the backdrop of using this as one of your campaign pledges. That it shouldn't take us 5 minutes to even sign this. It shouldn't take us 5 days, 10 days. This is something that, and you met the clergy. You met every facet of life, telling them that this bill is a mandate that everybody has to sign. Everybody. If you were,
He said that it's a mandate that everybody has to
that
sign.
Nanado had to sign. It's a mandate that Nanado had to sign because it is against our culture. And that is why when you are mentioning it in the local language, you don't want to hear. Because it's something that we don't want to even associate with. Then you use that at the backdrop, have some of your MPs go on the tangent, say, I remember Sam George in Ngo Pram that when President Mahama comes, within a short time, he will sign this. Otherwise, he himself will go on rampage. And you harass him till he signs. Because NDC is not going to accept this. Let everybody believe that at the end of the day, this is an evil act that should not even be seen. Even some of us at that time were saying that, listen, we should be careful with some of the laws we want to add on to our books, because this is already in our laws enacted that we should not know carnal knowledge with any other person. So what we have to do is to make sure that our laws are working. You don't need to go and sign anything new. They say, hey, yenti bida. Today, 1 year, 3 months down the line, is it that the president has a penchant of deceiving people or saying one thing and doing another?
I don't see the deceit here.
You think
He
there's
hasn't
no
directly-
deceit here?
He hasn't directly said that he won't sign the bill, has he? He said
Before,
it's not a
before,
priority
before he came to
compared
office,
to
before he
healthcare and
came
economy.
to, oh please, Master, take your time.
There's no
Before he came to office, he told us that there's a priority on Nanado to do. Do you remember some of the things he said? I don't think you recollect some of
he
the
said
things
he was going to sign the bill, but I didn't think
He said
that
this bill
I
is not
don't
something
remember.
that you even go for a day or two. But if he was in office, he would have signed this thing immediately. He would have signed this thing immediately. So it tells you that the bill was a priority to them when they were in opposition. But now that they are in government, the bill has become an obstruction or what? It's not a priority to him anymore.
compared to healthcare.
Do you know when you bring it to healthcare, the number of people who are wearing Pampers around because of this?
Well, that's also a propaganda.
You think so?
You have evidence.
You think so?
You have evidence.
Lawyer will tell you. Go and Google right now, and they will tell you, they can give you a percentage of the number
From
of
which
people.
source?
Eh?
Source.
But it's health service source.
Which source is that?
Just Google. It will tell you, to give you the source and everything.
No, you are the one.
That
saying
at
it's
the
not
end of the
proven.
day, we know the number of people who are suffering based on this. Healthcare, it's a danger to healthcare. Sexually transmitted diseases, all these are part of it. This is a critical issue that we should look at. I don't see how long it will take for him to take a paper and pen and say that, yes, I said that this was not right and I'm going to do it within a short time. I have signed over it.
But the bill has not been presented to him. It's not even been passed by Parliament. So why are we trying to force the hand of the president?
1 year.
If it's still going through a legislative.
Do you know that the people who pushed it in 2024 are still in government?
Right.
In fact, they are still MPs, and actually, some are in government now. They are ministers.
Right.
It doesn't take much. A bill that was not passed, or that was not accepted, or that was not consented to in 2024, a new government comes, a new parliament comes. You can present the bill to Parliament.
It has to be relayed as a new bill.
That's what I'm saying. You can present it to Parliament again.
It has. So it has to go through the rudiments of Parliament.
Did they take 1 year for the first one to be presented to Parliament? Did they take 1 year? What was the agency at that time that they needed to present that bill before elections? What was the agency that they needed to present that? And I'm wondering why we are running away from the truth. That this was one of the propaganda tools used in winning the 2024 elections. What has changed? And that's why I'm saying that this deceit Ghanaians are seeing. One thing Ghanaians don't like is to complain too much and not get results. It will get to a time they keep quiet. You can come and sit on radio or set and talk as if the government is the perfect or the saint government of our time. When Ghanaians decide, nobody can change their minds. Because some of these little things that they are looking at, they've come to realize that this deceit that is going on is more critical than anything else. When you are in opposition, you say one thing, and when you are government, you do the other. When you are there, you say that, listen, this is a critical thing that we need to sign, and you don't see why the president is not signing. It shouldn't take him days to sign a bill. Then when you come into government, you can present other bills, but you don't think LGBTQ is critical to present. What is so difficult about it that they don't want to present to Parliament again?
They have presented it to Parliament. Like I regularly indicated, it has to go through the rudiments.
How long does it take?
Parliamentary work.
No, how long does it take when they present it to Parliament? How long does it take? It doesn't take up to 6 months of parliamentary sitting. It doesn't take up to 6 months.
Well, so that
they've been in office for 1 year.
So that ball
1 year,
is in the court
3
of
months.
Parliamentarians,
Listen,
not the president.
You should speak truth in power, not only truth to power. We should speak truth in power. That's 1 year, 3 months down the line. What has taken them so long? What has taken them so long? Why is it difficult for them to have put it the first day they came in, the way they were pushing it the last time, and say that, yes, we said we are going to do it, and we have done it? I'll give you a clear example. When we were saying all over the place, they were shouting all over the place, bring Ken Ofori-Atta down, bring Ken Ofori-Atta down. And they said they had arrested Sedinam Tamaklo in the US. Over 3-4 months. This lady is still not in Ghana. Unless someone here can tell me that, yes, she's been presented, she's been brought down to Ghana and she's in the what do you call it? She's in our prisons.
When Ken comes, the issue will come.
There we go. That is what is happening. This is a government of deceit. Lies.
So Ken should come.
Go and arrest Ken. If you've arrested the first person, bring her down. If you've arrested the first person, bring her down. Then when we go and we get Ken, you bring Ken to also down. No one is saying that Ken will run away.
He's already bolted.
Oh.
So for the sake of clarification, the new anti-LGBT bill was relayed in Parliament.
When?
On March 3rd. Relayed. So this was just last month.
March 3rd.
Yes. Relayed.
For how many days?
Well,
Go through the process.
it will go through the process.
And that is why I asked a simple question. That why has it taken us over 1 year before relaying it?
Right.
And someone tells us that is not his priority.
Let me come to
the churches are asking questions. The CSOs are asking questions. I'm not the only one asking the question. The churches are asking questions. And they are disappointed in the response of the president. This is a lame man's dark excuse that it's not a priority for me. That is the least of the things he should have said. He could have even said that it's been relayed in Parliament. So let us go through the process. Right. But you come and tell Ghanaians that it's not his priority. I beg to differ.
Issa, the bill was relayed in Parliament in March 2025, 3rd March, as I rightly indicated. We saw the advocacy that the National Democratic Congress led in opposition about this bill. They said they were committed to signing it into law. And in fact, it was a strong campaign message. Ghanaians rallied around it. And the president has been going back and forth with his narrative, which make people believe that it's really inconsistent. One moment, he's committed to signing the bill. The other moment, it's not a priority. Which version of the truth do you want Ghanaians to accept? Is the president willing to sign the bill, or he's not?
The president didn't say anything about signing. So don't put words in his mouth.
The president said he will accent.
He said it's not priority.
No, but earlier, Mr. Jantua, let's be clear. Earlier, the president indicated that he's going to assent to the bill if Parliament presented before his desk.
Yes, but he hasn't talked about signing on this priority.
I'm just giving context here, what he said initially and what he has said now, which draws the inconsistency.
Priority doesn't mean that when it comes, you won't sign.
I'm not talking about exactly. But again, it creates confusion. If you're saying that it's not a priority, because why is it not a priority when we have legislation going through Parliament to have it criminalized? What version of the truth do you want Ghanaians to accept?
First, I would like to thank you very much. And most of the questions that you asked me right now has already been answered during my elder brothers or my uncle or my father's presentations. Most of the questions has been answered, and also how lawyer was putting some of the questions. When you look at President Mahama saying that the bill or LGBTQ plus issue is not a priority now, that's the word that we are using. It's not a priority now. Not being a priority doesn't mean he won't sign. That's the first thing we have to put into consideration. Not being a priority, meaning there are other bigger issues on the table. So if we have to sit here and choose between the issue of Galamsey and signing the LGBTQ now, when my elder brother here, a lawyer, was presenting on the Galamsey, in fact, I was writing some points. I was learning myself, because there is a lot to do when you look at it. When you are dealing with priorities, Galamsey comes first. So there are a lot of things that President Mahama, let's look at the economic mess up that the president inherited. And the president said that, see, the economy has already been messed up. There are other issues. Let's prioritize these issues first. Then we come to the bill. So arranging priorities doesn't mean the person is making U-turn or running away from what he said. No. We already have the bill being passed by Parliament. We would have solved this issue. It would have been very simple if President Nana would have signed this bill long time ago. We wouldn't have been here sitting on this issue.
You know, there were legal issues that...
No.
There were legal issues.
Yes, there were legal
in the
issues.
Background, which is why the president couldn't sign the bill.
Point of order.
What legal issues?
Legal issues should not stop the president.
Having nothing to do with...
has a mandatory, responsibility to sign bills when it comes to
that has been passed by Parliament.
At
a certain point,
don't say because it's in court.
Leave
the Supreme Court
from
deal
doing
with
that.
what they want.
The legal issue was stopping the president from signing it, and that was what happened in court.
I don't see it.
No, you have to correct it,
please.
In the end, what was the result of the Supreme Court? What was the result? What did they say?
That's what I'm saying, that if President Nana would have signed this bill, like, we won't be here talking about the bill, because it was already passed by Parliament. And I'm talking about, in fact, it got to some point, the president directed through the secretary of the Nana Asante Bediye too, that they shouldn't present anything on the table again about LGBTQ again. So President Mahama not making a priority, it shouldn't be issues to talk about. It means that President Mahama is ready to sign it at the right time when it's presented to him.
What do you mean?
That's the first one. The second one is that on carnal knowledge, as we said it here,
unnatural carnal
knowledge, as we said it here today, It's in our constitutions, and we are aware. Therefore, it has been taken care of to some extent. That's why we call it on. If the President Mama is saying that it's not a priority, it has been taken care of to some extent. That's the first one. The second one is, he said, why did it take 1 year, a whole year, before them relaying the bill? In fact, the bill, when we were minority, when we were in opposition, that's where the bill was presented by we as minority, right? In Parliament, when we were pushing this. If you have to ask the question, it should go to all of us, not only the NDC.
But you are the
what
ones,
my brother was saying, I'm coming.
You are
the reason I'm saying that
they
should,
for this bill
if
to
they
be
have
passed.
interest in this one, they should have also presented the bill. And the bill has elapsed, and they said they should relay and the bill has been relayed on the 3rd of March, as you said. And President said it's not a priority now, though the bill has not been passed by Parliament. And everybody internationally knows the stance of John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency, on when it comes to LGBTQ issues. He was denied his honorary doctorate by the University of Lincoln because of his stance on LGBTQ.
It wasn't that.
It was that.
It wasn't that.
It was that.
Go and check. We've got
It was because of his stance on that.
Have you seen
it was because of his stance. In fact, we can read the facts.
Have you seen the letter from the university?
Because of,
from the embassy.
Have you seen the letter from the university?
The Ghana embassy in the United States of America.
Can you stop interrupting?
No,
that's why when we were talking, I was quietly listening.
There was a
my
statement
brother,
from
have
the
you
Ghanaian
seen
embassy.
the letter from the university? I asked not from the embassy, from the university.
From the embassy.
I'm talking. No, I'm talking about the university. There are two different things.
We're going beyond 11.
Don't end the program at 11.
We're going beyond 11. I'm saying that let me tell
you
the Ghana embassy.
When you go on
but the
website,
Ghana embassy
when you go on the website,
had correspondence with the university.
No, that's my time.
Don't give your time. I'm doing a distance with you. Please,
Alfred. The Ghana embassy in the United States of America has correspondence with Lincoln University.
let me tell you something.
And so they were the ones who said that
when you go on the website, of Lincoln University,
right,
they have the letter stating that they are going to award that scholarship to him. When you go on that website today, the letter that is withdrawing it is not there. But we know the correspondence that went to the embassy. This is the same embassy that has been able to arrest Sedinam Tamaklo, and she's not in this country. This is the same embassy.
I don't understand.
So I'm telling you that is the ambassador and his people are not being truthful to Ghanaians.
I don't understand the correlation.
No, I'm telling you something. That an ambassador that has been able to arrest a Ghanaian person wanted in Ghana
I don't know
for over 4 months. Please, let me finish and you let me finish and you understand what I'm saying. You are dealing with a human being that has a penchant for lying. Yes. This is someone who said, I've arrested someone who is a wanted person in Ghana. For 4 months plus, the person has not landed in this country. And you think it's okay. It's just ordinary. The same person now comes to tell us that, the letter was withdrawn because of LGBTQ. Another information we are getting shows that the letter was withdrawn not because of LGBTQ.
No, but even when the president spoke about it in reaction to the
Truth
withdrawal,
will come very soon.
Let me make the point.
The truth
when the
will come very
president
soon.
spoke, reacted to the withdrawal, he made mention of the LGBT and said that it's a sovereign state and the issues of custom and tradition.
The truth
relax on the
will
people
come
here.
out.
Lincoln University is part of our history.
The truth will come out very soon. I'm telling you. You hold on. It will come out very soon.
So, as I was saying that when it comes to the issue with the LGBTQ, the president has never said it anywhere that he will never sign any bill. Any bill has not been presented to him and issued a letter that they should return the bill back, or he's not ready because of some things. Let the bill be presented to the president, and let's see whether he will sign it or he won't sign it. If the president says it's not a priority now, it's not an issue to be discussed. That's why I said it earlier that if President Anado, when the bill was passed, if that time just a pen, just sign like this, we wouldn't be talking about this issue now. So if you are talking about issue related to this LGBTQ, NPP shouldn't be the one to talk about the issue. But sometimes let's do politics with honesty. Right. You are the cause of the problem today. There was an easy solution for you. Just sign so that we all stay where we are. You refuse to sign. And today the bill is reintroduced into Parliament. It has not yet been passed. And President Mahama said it's not a priority now. But let us introduce the bill, and when the bill is passed, that's when we realize whether he will pass, whether he will sign the bill, or he won't sign the bill. And I said it here, President Mahama was denied his doctorate honorary because of his stance on LGBTQ+. Thank you.
No, he didn't voluntarily make it because if university has withdrawn doesn't mean that he told the university to withdraw it.
Sure.
That's a different matter. Let me go to Yao on Zoom. Yao is with the NPP communications team. Yao, usually they call out the moral compass of the NPP because you firsthand had this bill and you had every opportunity under the sun to sign it into law, but you didn't. Now you're pointing fingers at the NDC for being inconsistent with their narrative on the bill. Where do you stand?
Yeah, that is even immaterial, especially so when the current administration benefited from that backlash that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was reluctant in signing for whatever reason, why they thought that was so. It's all for us to know. And again, we cannot also run away from the fact that under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, when this back and forth was going on, the issue was specifically in the Supreme Court, which private individuals had filed a motion at the Supreme Court with regard to some aspect of this whole LGBTQ private membership bill that was being done in Parliament. And I think as law-abiding citizen, the president sworn on the Constitution definitely was binded by the Constitution to work according to the dictates of the law, and that is what Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo did. And even if you judge from that,
after the Supreme Court judgment, he still had time to sign it.
That I'm not privy to that. Even if it is so, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is no longer in office. The narration was that when we get the opportunity, we will do it. And the expectation of Ghanaians, as we speak now, is that the president should live up to expectation, giving that firm assurance to us, especially standing in front of the Christendom, that is an Assemblies of God, member of the Assemblies of God, and therefore their doctrines and their teachings do not support that. Gave a firm assurance to all of us that what Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo perceived not to have done during his era, we were going to see a paradigm shift for an immediate solution or signature to this very thing that we are discussing now. As we speak, what is the issue? So it tells there was no commitment prior to when His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the NDC were making political capital out of that, including those who have benefited from appointments as we speak in this government. And now the narration is quite different. It tells you about the deceptive nature of what the political narration is. And we are duty bound to be able to expand the conversation for the good people of Ghana to appreciate. On this particular platform, people are mentioning that, portions of what we are discussing, LGBTQ, has been taken care of by the Act 29, Section 104, mentions specifically about unnatural carnal knowledge, and therefore an aspect has been taken care of. So under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, my very brother who speaking for the NDC didn't know portions of that has been taken care of. His Excellency Dramani Mahama didn't know that an aspect of it has been taken care of. Sam George and Co didn't know that an aspect of the very thing that we are fighting has been taken care of.
We said it wasn't explicit.
So what are we discussing? And he says that some aspect has been taken care of. Me, I only know of one natural hole. And I only know of one natural item that can penetrate that one natural hole. And that is between a man and a woman. Simple as ABCD. There is only one hole that man can penetrate. That is explicitly stated in the Act 29. The offenses in there and the punishment which is meted out. We knew this. We thought that we should go the extra mile. Now, a private member's motion was a bill was introduced. It couldn't see the light of day because the previous administration didn't sign. And we had a committed opposition ready to sign from day one. What I was expecting the current administration to do was to even make it a government-sponsored bill, just like as they rushed bill into parliament for it to be passed overnight. We can talk of the gold board thing. We can talk of so many procurement things that rushed into parliament for it to be passed. And we were expecting same that this very act moving from, I was expecting that it moved from a private membership bill to a government-sponsored bill for us to see the agency and the commitment of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to this very campaign promise for us to get some comfort. And now we are told that it's not a priority. Thank you, Mr. President. Again, let us not say anywhere that the honorary doctorate that the university withdrawn was as a result of the stance of the president on LGBT. That is never true. If you read it well, we are told that happenings in Ghana, especially so when there is an introduction of a private member's bill speaking to this very issue, which is not sponsored by government. So it can never be the position of government. That is why they decided to withdraw. Again, my disappointment has got to do with my very faith. Why my church, the Methodist Church Ghana, judging from the political history of the church, way from the colonial days through to independence, again, even under the 1992 up till date, why they are so quiet on an aspect of a conversation that borders on the moral fiber of our country. And I'm tempted to believe that my church will be quiet because we have the sitting vice president coming from the church. And I'm suspecting that we'll be quiet because we don't want to hurt because we have one of our own at the apex end. If that is the thinking of my church, then I'm so disappointed. We cannot have a moral institution like my church, the Methodist Church, not being on the neck of government to do the needful. Because sociologically, religious institutions are the moral fiber of the affairs in ensuring that the values of our country is well preserved and inculcated into all aspects of life. And one threatening aspect has got to do with this very act that we are discussing now. And I'm expecting them to voice out, just like the Catholic Bishops' Conference have done, calling the president out that this is not the narration that you gave us, because we heard on the pulpit the Christendom speaking against why the president should not sign or should sign whatever act to be able to preserve the sanctity of that very moral institution. And if we are not seeing that, then I am disappointed. But again, the disappointment that I am got to do with my faith. But with regards to the corporate and which is Ghana, I know that the president was on the very day that he stood on the Assemblies of God platform to say that he was a Christian, he was deceiving the good people of Ghana with regards to this very particular act. If he is true to his words, then he should move quickly, make it a government-sponsored bill for it to receive the agency that other bills in Parliament received for his signature to
Right.
appear. It is a priority. Whilst it was in opposition now, it is the same priority that we are demanding that he walks the talk that he made mention of whilst in opposition.
Let me go around the table real quickly so that we can have everyone have a bite of this.
Don't like that real quickly.
Let me come to your wisdom. I read a comment on social media. X, for instance, that said that finally we have a leader that sets priorities right: job, healthcare, and education over imported distractions. Where do you?
Imported distractions.
Yeah.
Okay, for me, you see this thing, and I'll be very serious about this thing. If you don't have any of these in your family, you would think it is just an issue. And I don't shy away from these things. We are battling with one in our family right now, who is a very young man. And for me, I'm just waiting for the bill to be passed to see the judgment, so that we could even take an extract and show to him that this is going to be the worst case scenario. But thanks God, he is reforming. The issue about LGBT, I think my seniors mentioned it in Tree. And you see, we need to be very truthful to ourselves. Prior to the 2024 elections, we were all in this country. For the legalities of it, I think Opoku or who has spoken about it. I'm sure Council to also add up to it. But literally, we all know what this LGBT issue is about. Mr. Thompson made mention of the local balance, and I want to repeat it again. Say,
let's not go do the back and forth again. Just
back and forth.
Because
I don't understand you.
You see.
I beg, go on with your salvation. Repeat it when you have to repeat it.
Let's turn this program into Tree. And let's speak Tree. If you will have to name it.
Before I to Abano, it was clear. Say,
no, speak English.
That it was clear that LGBT, which locally
was the problem.
Yes, the problem.
Locally, because my grandmother in the village does not understand LGBTQ.
Doesn't understand it.
This was a problem. I think legally, when it got to the desk of the president, then President Akufo-Addo, he's a lawyer. I'm not a legal person, and he raised some concerns that there were some Supreme Court cases or so. I think Richard Sky and co had blah blah blah. So he was waiting, and that if the court clears all those issues, and it is brought back to him, he is going to assign. If I'm correct.
That's what he said.
Yes, I think after that, the party went out of office.
There was still time.
So there was still time.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. Now, there were leading members of this government. For Honorable Sam George, for example, in fact, he said a lot of things, from Galamsey to archaeology, and even on LGBT. I think there's one video where he even indicated that if they come into office for some number of months or so and President Mahama does not sign, it's either he will resign or something.
He will resign or he will harass him.
He will resign or he will harass him to sign. And just some few days ago, he has come to justify some of those comments that they were comments he made for the NDC to come back into office. So there were no issues that he meant so well. So we can forgive him on that. We had leading men of God like Mr. Lawrence Tete. Dr. Lawrence Tete. We had people, this Assemblies of God. Is it Mr. Wengunam also?
Wengunam.
Yes, and co speaking about it. In fact, it was very fierce. And all those...
Lawrence Tete said was going to do a one-man demonstration.
Exactly. And all those things, in fact, gave the previous government a bad image. In fact, even at that time, if the then president had even sneaked and even signed it, it would have been still used against him, because it was very clear. Today, we are being told that it is not a priority. The dictionary definition of priority is the level of importance assigned to something relative to other task, objectives, or interests.
But he compared it healthcare, jobs, economy.
Okay. So
by that time he didn't know there were jobs in healthcare.
So fine, no problem.
Yeah.
I can tell you.
Would you wish that jobs, LGBT will be fixed and the economy and jobs will not be
LGBT
fixed?
does not require $100 million to
It
fix.
requires a bill, and the
Do you
bill has not
understand?
been passed
no,
in
wait,
Parliament.
wait. You see,
The
why,
same thing.
just.
All right.
I think you have your time.
All right.
As it stands now, somebody's priority will be that LGBT law should be passed. You can take 30 million.
Is that a national priority?
If it's not a national priority, it is not for me to sit here to decide. But what I'm indicating now is that in the run-up to the 2024 election, President John Dramani Mahama and his cabinet and his people should have told Ghanaians that, oh, LGBT no, President Akufo-Addo. Let's leave it.
Focus on jobs.
Let's focus the campaign on jobs, 24-hour economy, and those things. It is not needed. In fact, it is not needed. It's not a priority, but it was made a priority then. Do you understand? So today, there is a news article from the just a second to just read for you. This from the African Human Rights Coalition. They said 2 faces, 1 signature. Ghana's President Mahama plays a double game on anti-LGBTQ bill. President John Dramani Mahama has presented 2 faces to the world. One tailored for the Ghanaian voters, and another carefully created for American audiences. At home, he campaigned on an unequivocal promise that he was, is there. It's an international publication out there. Okay, so you told Ghana it's a priority. Our children are getting destroyed. These are getting destroyed. President Akufo-Addo is trying to use LGBT to go and raise money for his campaign. A whole lot of things were said.
He didn't say that.
A lot of those things were said by so many leading people of of the ruling party now. So I would say that it is a priority. The same priority we give to jobs, we give to health on our campaign trail, we should be able to handle it. And Dr. Lawrence Tete today has been appointed by the president to one of the land ministries committee on, I think, land vetting or what committee. So Ghanaians, some Ghanaians who can tell you, the president, that you are compromising such people. The chairman for the Assemblies of God today, Mr. Wengnam, is the chairman for the board of directors also for immigration.
What's the point?
President John Dramani Mahama was the one who appointed the Speaker of Parliament. So we know how our arms of government intertwine in this country. Our separation of powers is not clearly separated, as the Constitutional Committee has clearly indicated. Executive has impact.
Nominate him, or parliamentarians who nominated him, and then he assented.
Party nominated him.
Yes.
He is part of those who nominated him to become the majority's leader.
So he was part of the party nominating.
But it's the leader who does that.
Yes. No, but
party. Everybody knows
when
that
the parliament is
right.
So it's an open secret
in our party.
So it's an open secret that whenever a party is in government, whoever becomes the Speaker of Parliament is discussed. Even the leadership of the House, majority, minority. We were here when the national chairman of the NDC asked that they should reconstitute so the party is involved.
But the parliament is made up of minority and majority. So he can't sidestep those processes and get the bill passed.
Sidestepping them.
Yeah. So what's the point?
But the point is that President Mahama is saying that LGBT is not a priority today, but it is going to be handled democratically. As we speak today, he is the democratically elected head of state, a head of government for the Republic of Ghana. So he still has that responsibility to indicate that he should make it a priority for Ghanaians. And let's be very factual here. The issue about President Mahama had been denied a doctorate degree. This is a very highly respected platform. Lincoln University is a highly reputed institution. They brought an information out that we want to honor President of Ghana with an honorary degree or doctorate. Okay. They did not come back to communicate to you and I or to the world that this is the reason why we are pulling out.
But if they had anything to say, they would have said it because it was long ago.
Ghana's ambassador, you see, Ghana's ambassador to the United States is a politician who is an NDC member who was appointed by President John Dramani Mahama. So we cannot take as a country, though he is our representative out there, we should not stop dissenting opinions that seek to also hear the side of the university, because it could be that
you're saying that Lincoln University is a reputable institution, right? If really, what the embassy said was erroneous, they would have cleared the air long ago.
So you see, now you are trying to defend that president. The president has a right to determine that LGBT is not a priority. Okay?
Who said? I never said that. I'm saying that you are making a categorical statement with Lincoln University. Let me just finish. And I'm saying that, given that Lincoln University is a reputable institution, if what the embassy said was untoward, they would have come out to clear the air about it.
They will come out at the right time.
So just as
people
file out TIs to universities to do a background check on their qualifications, and so I'm sure definitely we are going to get there.
And
so
we'll
I
get
will plead that we should treat all these issues as, let's say, speculations until the university is given opportunity to explain. What if the university also denied the president just because he has also not quickened the same bill? It could be.
But the president himself, the president himself said that when he was responding to the withdrawal, alluded to the fact that the LGBTQ plus. So
did the president state emphatically that University of Lincoln denied him of the doctorate degree because of his stance on LGBT?
He was speaking in relation to that, where he said
there
that
is no evidence
he said Ghana is a sovereign state. We pride ourselves on our customs and traditions, and everything needs to be done to preserve that. He was reacting, and the withdrawal was based on. It was based on his stance on LGBTQ+.
And scientifically proven that the university.
What do you need scientific proof from this one again?
No,
so
why
did they withdraw
it? Come again.
Why did they withdraw it?
I said the president has
long time.
Their
reputation,
even
the university's reputation is
just
on
a minute.
Stake. They should come and say that it's not because of this.
Sometimes university can even award you your certificate.
It's awarded,
and they will withdraw it. Henry, it's not end. It is been given.
Yes.
Your certificate can be withdrawn at any point in time.
Yes.
Admission can be given to you, and we'll check and check to see that the WASI certificate you used to apply for the course you did some forgery. So there are so many reasons for a university to withdraw. It could even be, or it could even be
that. The issue is that you are defending the university.
I am not defending the university.
Right to defend itself.
You are.
The embassy. This is what the embassy said.
But see,
no. We are doing politics with it. The point here is that
the word out there. You see, the word out there is saying that when you go to United States, you talk to the global world like you are against LGBT. Yeah. But when you come home to meet your Ghanaian voters, you tell the Ghanaian voters that it's not a priority.
No, right. But if you say that, then you are wrong.
Okay, let me come to
the university. It has a PR system. It has a PR. It has everything to defend itself.
It has a double standard.
Nobody. He doesn't need the university
standards.
Okay.
So in
the university doesn't need any.
Can you just allow him to wrap up?
There are equally more important pressing issues, like the 24-hour economy. But the young people need
it's not a priority.
There are more pressing issues in the health sector because this Agenda 111
is still not a priority for him.
All lying down, and we will just pray for the president that God gives him the strength.
His priority is good,
wisdom. That as he rules the country, all these issues are managed, and LGBT in his lifetime as president,
he will sign before
the pact he has made with Ghanaians. He should sign, but because right now, as it stands now, he's been seen as double-tongued in the face of the world. He goes abroad and speak nicely, and come home and speak differently. Thank you very much.
Right, you're still listening to the forum here on Asasi Radio 99.5 in Accra. We're live on Facebook as well. In just some few seconds, minutes actually, we'll be wrapping up the show. With bypass.
You saw the eye. You saw the eye. On behalf of PRO.
Mr. Jantwa, nearly used me for lunch.
You can't do that.
Right, the time check is 11:24. Ordinarily would have ended the show at 11, but we have to allow for some more time to take a deep dive into the issues. Mr. Jantwa, let me come to you. CDD Ghana
Briefly
conducted a poll around LGBTQ+, and over 90% of Ghanaians want the bill passed. That's a priority. Wouldn't you agree?
Let me go to Graphic Online. Let me quote. President John Dramani Mahama has called for restraint and dialogue in the ongoing national debate on LGBTQ+ issues, stating that while the subject is important, it is not the country's most pressing priority. Most pressing priority. He's not saying it's not a priority, but it is
So
not
what's
the
priority?
most pressing. He went on to say, speaking during a presidential dialogue with civil society organizations at Jubilee House in Accra on Monday, March 30th, the president described the issue as sensitive and emotionally charged, even in societies with long-standing liberal traditions. That means West. He urged stakeholders to approach discussions with calm and respect for Ghana's values. Me, I will say, President Mahama, add it to the priorities.
all Ghanaians are asking for
Add
that.
it to the priorities. And we learn from history. One of the reasons why the MPP lost the 2024 elections was not passing this bill.
Is there research to show?
Check.
Everybody knows.
Check.
You know.
Was not passing this bill.
Very true.
You see,
Where's the proof?
on this particular bill, that culture that Ghanaians have of meaning they didn't talk, is in there. It's in there.
Culture of silence.
Yes.
Yeah.
They watch you.
NDC.
He should make it priority. Not two ways. There are no ifs or buts about LGBTQI. Look, people will put aside. Do you have a child? Do you have a child?
Not yet.
You don't have a child. Okay. I have a child. Some of the things that President Mahama is talking about as issues are very important. And every parent has to make sure they have enough money to feed their children. They can take their children to hospital and all that. However, if my son comes to tell me, Dad, I don't believe in heterosexual relationship, I believe in homosexual relationship, what would be the utmost thing on my mind?
Take him to a psychologist.
What would be the utmost thing on my mind? First thing, I'll call my wife. Hey, Kwame says this is what he believes in. My wife would tell her sister. Her sister would tell her another sibling. It will become family discussion. Not on the food that they are able to afford. Not on the school fees they haven't been able to pay, but the mere fact that their son is what? Interested in another man or other men. The mere fact that their son, the mere fact that they cannot have grandchildren. And in our culture, and these are the type of values President Mahama is talking about. Respect Ghanaian values. Because in Ghana, when you get married, it is key that you have to produce next lineage.
Yeah. You don't
This
believe
next
in
lineage.
adoption.
Look. When a family has girls, I have 5 sisters. So me, where women are concerned, I'm for them all the time. When they have 5 girls along the way, or all the children are girls, what do you hear people saying? Hey, omu bema bako ne dino enkoso. Omu bema bako ne dino enkoso. And you are saying, and look, let me even say, this LGBTQI thing that they talk about, it is not a fundamental human right. Nobody can tell me that somebody's priority, somebody's choice of doing a certain action that is illegal is a fundamental human right. Provision of water is a fundamental human right. Education is a fundamental human right. Where does this compare to LGBTQI that we think is a fundamental human right? Marriage, heterosexualism is a fundamental human right because it's procreation. So, if we feel that it is not important, then I would ask and tell the NDC that please, look what happened to the MPP. Ghanaians don't like this LGBTQ plus. They don't like it. Open the phone lines. Our what do you call it? Our Facebook crew. Let's hear what they say about LGBTQI if they support it. So I will plead with the president, please come back again and make it a priority. Even on the list of priorities. If it is last bottom, at least we know it's there. And you see, it can bring a conflict. And what's the conflict? What did the speaker say to us? He said he was going to make sure that this bill is passed in Parliament. And you guys were telling me that the president was part and parcel of putting the speaker in place. Can the two contradict each other? I doubt it. And I don't think, and I hope President Mahama is not saying that if the bill comes to him, he's going to do what President Akufo-Addo did, leave it on his table for 2 years before signing. From what I say, he said it's not the most pressing priority. Yes. He's not saying he won't sign. Because if the bill leaves Parliament today and is on his table, he will sign.
He will sign it.
Amen.
Amen.
Right.
Amen. Sign it.
Okay. Let's
Thanks
look
for
at.
not interrupting.
You've got to love Kwame Jantwa there. Let's look at our last issue. Inflationary figures announced by the Ghana Statistical Service. Briefly before we go, inflation now at 3.2%, the lowest we've seen in years. But people say that it's not reflecting on their pockets. In fact, on the streets of Accra, when we spoke to some people, there's a different narrative emerging. Why is their realities not matching with the numbers? Alfred.
You're starting with me again.
Absolutely. You are very much interested in the standard of living. So I thought it wise to bring it to you.
My brother, you have a situation where inflation is at 3%, but your electricity and water bills have shot up by 29%. Now they claim that they've reduced it by 4%.
That the service inflation is actually going up, and food inflation or goods inflation is coming down.
Yeah. Then you ask yourself, what is happening in the country? Exchange rate, as we all know, is at the moment at 11.5 or so, thereabouts. Then I ask myself, when exchange rate was at about 14% or 14 to a cedi, and inflation was 23%, you were buying a bag of cement around 100 Ghana cedis thereabouts, 80 to 100 Ghana cedis, and it was in dollar terms, it was about $6.50. Now that inflation has come down, and you are buying the same thing with exchange rate at 11 cedis, you are still buying the cement for, instead of around $7, you are buying it around $10 plus. Where is the correlation? interest rate is still at 3%, and lending rate is way above 20%. Where is the correlation? Yeah.
I thought lending rate has come down.
To what? Go to the bank and check. Go to the bank and check. So you ask yourself, what is going on? What is happening in the country? I'm not talking about mid-rate. I'm talking about lending rates in the banks. You ask yourself, what is going on in the country? Dollar is part of the things they peg around the fuel prices. Today, fuel prices are going up. The dollar they claim is still stable, but things are going up. Everybody is complaining. Everybody's average wage is being tampered with, more or less, because things are going up, but inflation is still at 3%. What is happening? People are complaining. In fact, there were some teachers who were employed for over 14 months now, or about 14 months now, 13, 14 months, and they have not been paid till date. If you have a brother who is in Accra, you live with him in Accra, and has been transferred or has been posted to Wale Wale, and he's supposed to go and pay rent, electricity, water, buy food, buy clothing, and stay there, how is he going to survive? How is he going to survive? These are critical questions Ghanaians are asking. So this massaging of figures is not going to help us.
Massaging of figures?
Yeah, because that's what is happening.
Which figures specifically?
Everything that you do, the figures should correlate with your standard of living. Everything that you do.
But inflation.
The
Ghana
reference rate has dropped
to
10 point something.
And
From 11.6.
The lending rate.
Yes.
Lending rate has dropped to what?
It's 19.7 now.
19.7, that's against 3%. Isn't it? Oh,
It was 20 plus
20 and 19. It's just about the same thing. Some banks are over 20. Master, we are looking at the average in the industry.
And he accepted
Let me even accept that it's 19%.
He said 19 and 20.
Let me even accept for him, for his own NDC government. Let's accept that it's 19%. Because 19 and 20, I don't see the difference. Let's accept it's 19%. 19 as against 3% inflation increase.
Okay.
You go and people's same salary. You have brought in ECG and this thing of 29%. Now they claim 24% increment. When averagely, in the MPP's time, when the 2024, it was about 3% increment. 3% increment. Even with inflation and everything being at 23%, it was 3% increment. Then you go and do this, and you expect people to take the same money home. That is what I'll tell you, that the figures don't gel. You can massage it so much. But you see, all this that they are doing, when it breaks, like what happened in 2015 when the World Bank told them that, listen, the banking sector is not what it looks like, and that if you are not going to if you are not careful, and we don't look at it well, this massaging of figures and giving people money that you are using it as a support measure, is going to hit back at us, and that is what happened. And then they'll come and sit and tell you that they inherited a bad economy. What is worse than 2016? What is worse than 2016? Today, as we sit here, you know that in 1 year, we've borrowed over $11 billion. 1 year. When you look at all the subsequent governments, from Kufuor's time, when he was leaving, it was about 8 billion. To Atta Mills's time, to the next time, when I'm going to give you all the figures, you will realize that we are in serious crisis. If for 1 year you borrow over 11 billion, then it tells me that in the 4 years average, dollars. Go and check. Go and check. I am telling you.
It is local borrowing.
Mr. Jantua, I am
borrowing.
Oh, I can give you. Listen, I can give you the figures right now. Mr. Jantua, I won't come and sit here and lie. I don't see why my reputation will be at stake, and I'll come and sit here and lie. Let me quickly get the figures for you.
On your bit on the
in Rawlins's time when he was leaving, he left the destination at 7.1 billion in 2000, the debt. Kufuor added some bits to it, about less than $1 billion, and it went to $8 billion when he was leaving office in 2008. Mills Mahama in 2016 added $21 billion to close at $29 billion debt.
Mills Mahama.
Yes, Mills Mahama government for the 8 years. Yes, they added $21 billion. Akufo-Addo from 2016 to 2028 added $20.18 billion debt. Yes, okay. $20.18 billion. So even Mills Mahama, yes, for the 8 years, the Mills Mahama's own $21 billion was more than Akufo-Addo's own, and that ended at $49.38 billion debt. Today, as we speak, I'm wrapping up here. Today, as we speak, Mahama has added $11.93 billion in a year to push the debt to $61.30 billion as at the end of 2025. We are in danger, because what I'm saying is that we have a situation where the Minister of Finance, in his 2025-2026 reading, told us that in 2025 they had to borrow to pay compensation. Borrow to pay compensation. As we sit here, they are taking people into the
money in the coffers. How do you expect them to pay?
So listen to what I'm saying.
Mr. Johnson,
if there's no money in the coffers and you are going to now employ over 5,000 people into the security services, and you said they should increase it to 10,000, what are we doing? We are borrowing bigger to pay for our wages, our compensation. It's scary. It's scary. And if you borrow 11.93 billion, and we are sitting here and we think Ghana is on the right trajectory, we should be careful.
Right. Mr. Janto, let me come to you. You are in the energy sector as well. Fuel prices are soaring. The transport operators have indicated an increment in transport fares. Many are calling on government to help stabilize prices at the pumps.
What is causing the increase in transport?
Some have alluded to the disturbances in the Middle East.
Exactly.
Some alluded to the dollar.
Connected to exchange rate or CD challenges, and the hope is that it will come now. However,
that's
if
part
this
of it.
particular conflict continues, then we are heading for huge challenges.
Should we take away the one CD levy?
So for me, I think at this material moment, what is the one CD levy doing? It's doing quite a lot. It's doing quite a lot. Let's look at the cost build up of petrol. There are quite a lot of things we can look at in that cost build up,
including the one CD,
and try and reduce some, because sometimes in the cost build up, I've got it here, there's repetition of some of the cost builds up. But if it so happens, and the president has said it, if it continues, we can look at the one CD. But the one CD is important to be in there. But you see, this is where I say, unfortunately, governments haven't been able to pin down our public transport system. If we had an effective public transport system, this might not be too much of a problem. Number two, we are an oil we are an oil producing country. When was Tor brought back into shape? Quite recently.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and this is where sometimes I look at the MPP and I ask questions. We never did exploration to production in 8 years. So if we don't do exploration to production in 8 years, that crude oil that we can give, even let's put Tor aside and say we give it to Centu, although I'm not a fan of Centu, but it's a refinery here. Give it to Centu to refine on our behalf. Would there not be situations where we can even say that oil that is being refined, we use it for strategic stocks? Because remember, strategic stocks today, we are importing capital flight. And in times like this, if we are able to do what? Refine our own, keep it in strategic stocks, cannot that support some of the challenges we're going through? And I keep saying, planning. What is the plan? You see, in this country, when we go through spates of this thing, we don't seem to learn from it.
Right.
It's not the first time that we've been through this. At least we should be able to forward plan, and say to ourselves, in order for this not to happen again, let's make sure that our strategic stocks will take us 6 months. How do we do that? let's refine some of our own oil, put it aside, and in situations like this,
Right.
help to support. Yeah, you're right, means I should quickly shut up so that you can move on.
Yes, we're just roughing up. You're done?
It's fine.
Let's come to you. People are complaining when they go
Sure.
to their favorite barber shop. They are still paying more. When they bought vehicles
came here,
like
even the
boats,
AC
it's
was
still
off.
more. But you're celebrating the inflation figures,
All right.
widely in the streets.
By the way, sorry, inflation figures doesn't mean that things
Absolutely.
are cheap. It just reduces how the what you call
Absolutely,
it goes up.
but
Yes.
of course,
Lawyer
people are
has-
supposed to feel
Oh, yeah, you've said what I wanted to say.
some level of
Wow,
respect.
good.
Yeah, some
Okay,
people
I'll
are
talk on that.
some-
Right. I'll explain it to him.
No,
from the
we
distance.
don't have enough time.
Oh, just a second.
We're
I'll do
supposed
that
to
when he
feel some
finishes.
level of respite.
All right.
But Ghanaians are not
Sure,
feeling that
sure.
at the moment.
So recently, the Public Utility Regulatory Commission came out with a reduction in water, 3.06%, and also electricity 4.81%. You can cross-check the figures. So
I mentioned
you
it
look
over,
at
that's
you
it,
can
drop
cross.
down
That's why I
by
say you can
4%.
cross-check the figures. So you look at some of the things that they take in consideration when they are reducing this. The core mandate of the PURC is to make sure that we are not overcharged or we are charged fairly. So when you look at the things that they take into consideration, the first thing is they take inflation into consideration. So if you don't take care, you will define inflation as deflation. Inflation means the level at which prices of goods and services going up. It's slowing down, it's snail.
But you go there and the
coming.
prices haven't
Good.
changed.
No,
It's
so
still-
it
it's still
means
the
that
same.
it is supposed to go higher than that.
We spoke to Ghanaians.
That's
Yes.
Ghanaians.
Yes, so it's supposed to go higher than that, but it has slowed down. That's inflation.
Never go-
But
nothing
that's
goes
various
down in this
baskets.
country.
Good. So
Baskets that come
deflation,
into range.
deflation.
But what can you do about the service inflation?
So
Because
that's
what
that's
the
that's where
major problem.
that's where I'm coming.
People
That's
are complaining
that's
about
where I'm
that.
coming to.
Mm.
So when we come to the deflation, deflation means the prices of goods and services are going down. That's deflation. So we shouldn't mistaken inflation for deflation. So when you look at the reduction in this water and electricity, they take four things into consideration. The first one is inflation, the second one is exchange rate, the third one is cost of fuel, and the last one is cost of production. Before any reduction is done in this, when it comes to the reduction done by the PURC. Now, when you look at the inflation rate is down, first one, exchange rate is down, cost of fuel is up, but cost of production is also down. So 3 beating 1 means that they have to do, there's 3 beating 1 here. 3, they are using 4 parameters, and 3 is beating 1. That's the cause of the reduction. The second one is the fuel prices that we talk about here. See, when you talk about the fuel prices, I'm very happy to be raised by the Regional Maritime University as a shipping student. When you look at shipping economics, microeconomics, macroeconomics, and economic geography, it affects this. Whoever says that external affairs does not affect our economy is a big lie.
Yeah, Mahama is a lie.
The first person to introduce this type of politics into our politics is Dr. Mahmoud Baumia.
No, let's skip to the issues.
You-
and
I'm
not go
coming,
straight
I'm coming,
into
I'll come to
tangents of
that.
politics.
Please, I'm coming.
I have to wrap up.
I'm coming.
please.
I'm coming. Let me conclude. Let me conclude.
You're having a minute. I'm sorry.
Let me conclude.
Yeah, just finish up for me.
So, in conclusion, President Mahama made mention that the war ongoing, the war that's ongoing, has raised the prices of fuel. You know, we used to buy crude at $73. Now we are buying crude at $110. We used to buy crude at $73. Now we are buying at $110.
Fuel
Was
down.
Good. We were
told
good.
Ghanaians
Thank you.
that
When the
it was
fuel was
Ghanaians
down,
that-
They increased
I'm
electricity
coming.
by 29%.
In fact, Ghanaians were happy, even at paying a levy.
$65
A
on the
levy.
world market
I'm
against
coming.
100.
I'm coming, boss.
Let him wrap up. You have less than a minute.
A minute. That's why I'm saying that when Ghanaians has enjoyed the reduction of fuel prices for the past 30 months.
As a result of what?
Well, as a result, in fact, when
can it
President
be?
Mahama made mention
As
of
a
I'm
result of
coming,
what?
I'm coming.
Oh, mention the parameters.
As a result of the exchange rate and the price at the bucket.
Okay.
Now today the price has been increased,
Okay.
and the exchange rate, by the capability of the finance minister, he has done well at where our exchange rate is. That is making us buy it even at this price. If our exchange rate was to stay at where MPP left the exchange rate at 15 point something or 16 point something,
Right.
would have buying the fuel at this price.
Right.
Thank you very
just wrap
much.
up from the waste on 1 minute.
All right. So the issue about
minute is
politicians
not fair.
politicians have been able to define what inflation is to their followers.
Thank you.
Okay, and when it is time for the same stick to be used to shape them, they now come back with the textbook definition of inflation. That inflation does not mean that prices are increasing. Today, inflation is around 3 what
Yeah.
percent.
2%.
If the data is accurate, in some few months to come, we should enter into the negatives.
Yeah.
Because we are just close there, and we are going to say it now. The data suggests that African economies, we rely heavily on imports. My senior brother Sami Jemfi indicated that why should the previous government indicate that the Russia-Ukraine war was having effects on our Ghanaian economy?
Wait, please. No.
I have the video here.
No. I'm coming.
I have the video here. Hello.
Referrer. They
Hello.
refer to Baumia.
He didn't-
This is
no,
what
no,
you
no, no,
said
no,
earlier.
this is
He
fair.
said this in 2014.
Hello.
No, he said this
Let
in
me land.
2014.
Let me land.
He said this in 2014.
I have my
So
evidence
we were
here.
referring him.
What I'm saying
We
is
were
that
referring Dr. Mahmoud
Sami
Baumia.
Jemfi was indicating that is the MPP government so naive to the extent that bombs that have been thrown in Ukraine has some fall in Accra? That's number one. President Mahama on several occasions told us that how would a war happening far away
Over
over 7,000 kilometers have effect on our economy? It was as a result of the incompetence of the managers of the economy then. Today, we are at where we are, but nobody should pray that this war should continue. The fact is that, like Council said, should this war continue, whether you are MPP, you are NDC, when you go to the pump, you pay high.
Right.
And finally,
they get four coupons.
issue about cost production. My brother was indicating that cost
Just
production
30 seconds.
has reduced. As we speak, effective April 16th, Pure Water Company has indicated that a bag is going for 15 cedis, citing increasing cost of what? Production. The president for the Association of Ghana Industries 3 days ago indicated that when dollar was even 14 or 19 or 15, tariffs were not being increased like that. Why is it the case that today dollar is down, the tariffs are a bit increased? You have increased tariff on electricity from 2025 today by 28%, and you've reduced it by 4.8%. The net is still 23% on. So, like Council said, let's just put politics aside, and let's face the issues and make sure the reality is what is achieved. Thank you very much.
Right, thank you so much, gentlemen. Let me say a big thank you to you, Wisdom Gomashi, engineer and mining consultant. Also, a big thank you to Kojoche Yamwa. You heard him earlier. Executive Director, Help Foundation Africa. Alfred Thompson, NPP National Treasurer Aspirant, and also the NPP National Communications Team member. Ibrahim Issa, Future National Democratic Congress Communication Team member, and Yao Pokumengsa, NPP National Communications Team. And last but not least, Kwame Jant was senior member of the CPP and, of course, a private legal practitioner. Gentlemen, many thanks for your time. Let me take some of your comments before we say goodbye to all of you. This one, okay. Abdul Basit Mahama, very active, says Mr. Jantwa is using English to attempt to rationalize the actions of the president, which even a child can see as double standards. No one can put a gun to the president here to say the things he said about LGBT in the past. Aren't people right to question him? So why don't we understand English? So we don't understand English, right? he concludes it's right. We have now seen true men of God and religious armed robbers, religious scammers and hypocrites. These people that the Bible describes them as brood of vipers, beautiful outside, dead inside. Dr. Lawrence Tete and co has disgraced themselves. It's a shame to Christianity, and all their church members are in the wrong direction. It will be very difficult for them to enter the kingdom of God. And that comment is coming from Lee Tekpo. Those were some of your messages on Facebook. Let me also tell you that in a world that sometimes feel a bit loud, finding a moment of peace is essential. This Easter weekend, join us on Asasi Radio 99.5 in Accra, 98.5 in Kumasi, 100.3 in Cape Coast for the 196th Annual General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It's a global broadcast focused on teachings of Jesus Christ, coming to you live across Ghana. The date is 4th April 2026. This Saturday afternoon is actually live. It's between 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And the date for the 5th April 2026, the Sunday morning, there's actually a rebroadcast of Saturday afternoon's program. And the time is 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. There's music and spoken word. And the time is 3:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. So that'll be it. You want to be a part of that. Well, thank you so much for making time to join us for the forum. And we hope that we've truly made it worth your while. And a big thank you to all our guests who joined the show. We're back next week. Until then, have a happy Easter.